He transmigrated into the world of immortals and was born into a very powerful family. He had suffered a lot in his previous life, so he wanted to live a comfortable life in this life. He did not want to cultivate. But one day the system appeared before him and told the protagonist that if he took its help, he could cultivate and become an immortal. But the protagonist flatly refused to cultivate. But the system was not going to leave the protagonist alone, and repeatedly forced him to cultivate and become an immortal. So let's see how the protagonist's journey begins to become an immortal. Some women are relaxing under a beautiful mountain valley. But to disturb their relaxation, a woman there tells them, since ancient times, our cultivation world has revered the strong, treating ascension as the ultimate goal. But you, Luo Qianfan, rely on your prestigious family background and make no effort to improve. You're nothing but a disgrace to the cultivation world. I despise you. And this woman's name is Yu Yan, and Yu Yan points her finger at the protagonist, but the protagonist does not pay much attention to Yu Yan's words. He is relaxing, and the protagonist's name is Luo Qianfan, who is the successor of the prestigious Luo family. And as soon as some ladies hear Yu Yan's words, they get very angry, and they say to Yu Yan in an angry voice, "How dare you! This is the Treasure Pavilion's special event, held once every 50 years, the banquet of flowing waters and floating wine cups. Which sect are you from, to behave so rudely?" But Yu Yan says, "Lady Changyu, don't try to intimidate me with your big talk. What I despise most are the ugly faces of those who shamelessly flatter others." And listening to Yu Yan's rudeness, some ladies start talking and they say, "Who's this woman? How dare she speak to young Master Luo like that? Indeed, she's so foolish. If she angers young Master Luo, even the power behind her will be in trouble. How irritating, talking like that about young Master Luo." And listening to those ladies, Yu Yan thinks, "You ignorant women don't understand a thing." As the young master of the immortal Luo family, Luo Qianfan has seen all kinds of women. Compared to those who throw themselves at him only to be forgotten, men prefer women who are hard to get. And the lady sitting next to the protagonist is named Lady Changyu, and she says, "Young Master Luo, I apologize for my poor guest selection. I'll have this disrespectful person removed at once." So the protagonist says, "No need." And Lady Changyu thinks, "Besides, I've investigated. Luo Qianfan is known for his gentle manner and courtesy. He's never engaged in senseless killing. As long as I play my cards right, winning over his heart will be a piece of cake." And the protagonist gets a little serious and thinks, why does this scene seem familiar? Like one of those old-school campus romance dramas. It's been 18 years since I reincarnated, and suddenly I'm feeling nostalgic seeing such a scene. Thinking back to my previous life, I've always been doing things I had to do. I had to get the best grades. Had to get into the best university. Had to land a good job. I spent my whole life doing things I had to do, but it feels like I never did anything I truly wanted to do. I spent a lifetime competing, exhausted, without ever knowing what it was all for. When I was reborn, I swore I would never compete again in this life. I want to live a life that makes me happy. I want to slack off." And remembering all these things, the protagonist is comfortably enjoying his wine. But then the system appears in front of him, and Luo Qianfan gets shocked seeing it, and wine comes out of his mouth, and the system says to the protagonist, "Detected. Host has been mocked," activating the ultimate competition system automatically. But when the ladies see that Luo Qianfan has spat out the wine, they still feel that Luo Qianfan is looking very handsome. Then Lady Changyu asks Luo Qianfan, "Young Master Luo, is the wine not to your liking?" But Luo Qianfan says that I am fine. But Luo Qianfan is surprised to see the system panel, and he gets into deep thinking. It seems others can't see this system. A system, huh? Well, nowadays systems are pretty much standard for transmigrators. It would be weird not to have one. But still, this one arrived pretty late. And the system confidently tells the protagonist, "The luckiest and most powerful competition system spirit. I have arrived, dash." And the system comes close to Luo Qianfan and holds his cheeks and tells the crying protagonist, "Do you know how I've lived these past 18 years? After being bound to you and transmigrating to this immortal world, I've been waiting to activate. If only you, the host, had done just one competitive thing, just one, the system could have been activated. But for 18 years. Not a single thing. Not even one. And after listening to the system, Luo Qianfan understands why he got the system so late. And the system further says, but that's all in the past. Thanks to that woman who mocked you, I was able to activate through self-initiation. From now on, this competitive system will guide your path of cultivation. The system can grant any wish you have, and if you complete competition tasks, you'll receive valuable rewards. And Luo Qianfan asked the system, any wish? Are you sure? So the system replies, of course. And the protagonist makes a demand from the system and says to it, in that case, could you please unbound yourself from me and let me go back to drinking? And when the system hears that Luo Qianfan wants to be unbound by her, she gets shocked and says to the protagonist, don't you crave limitless power? Don't you long for the ability to control fate with a wave of your hand? Don't you desire endless wealth? Why not? But Luo Qianfan refuses the system and says to it, sorry, but I've already decided to slack off. I don't have those worldly desires. Also, I'm allergic to the words compete. And the system says, but that woman insulted you in front of everyone. Aren't you mad? Complete a task, and you can immediately get your revenge and humiliate her. And Luo Qianfan says she wasn't wrong though. I am just a slacker. And the system gets disappointed, but she says to Luo Qianfan, but you're a transmigrator. But then Luo Qianfan gets angry and he stands up and in an angry voice he says to the system, so what if I'm a transmigrator? Does being a transmigrator mean I have to compete? That's stereotyping. You're intentionally stirring up conflict against transmigrator. Be careful, you might get called out for that. And the system gets shocked after listening to the words of the protagonist and thinks, this guy, could my perfect record of guiding transmigrators to ascend to higher realms be ruined by him? Damn it! Just you wait. Then the system leaves. And Luo Qianfan smiles and he thinks, so? Looks like that system spirit has let me return. Given up? Heh, no way I'm going back to competing after getting a second chance at life. And seeing Luo Qianfan angry, some ladies talk, look, young Master Luo is smirking. He's angry. It's that woman's fault. Will we be dragged into this if he's mad? And Yu Yan thinks, why isn't he saying anything? Did I go too far and truly anger him? Should I try to smooth things over? But then someone comes to this place and he says, the lady speaks the truth. Luo Qianfan, I hear you haven't even reached the foundation establishment stage. Apart from relying on your family background, what else can you do? Rest assured, my lady. From the moment I saw you, I was captivated by your fearlessness in the face of power. I'm always on your side. His name is Jang Chuan. But Yu Yan thinks, I don't need your assurance. Why the hell are you butting in? And then again the system appears behind the protagonist, and she says to Luo Qianfan, how about it? Isn't this too much to bear? Just complete a competitive task, and you can slap their faces hard. But Luo Qianfan smiles and he thinks, if you want to slap faces, why rely solely on your system? Fine, let me show you how a young master like me handles things. And Lady Changyu says, come, escort these two out. But Luo Qianfan asks Lady Changyu to wait, and he says to both of them, troublemakers, you two have truly moved me with your words today. Since birth, when I wanted to cultivate, I had endless spirit pills and elixirs at my disposal. When I wanted to play, I had countless heavenly treasures to waste. You could say my illustrious family background has made me number to everything. I hate my wealth. It turned me into an empty shell. And after listening to Luo Qianfan, some ladies say, why do you hear this? Make me so angry? And a girl says, young Master Luo is so handsome even when he's being shameless. And Yu Yan thinks, as expected, I've caught his attention. I don't know why, but listening to him makes me angry. Now I just need to adjust my attitude appropriately, and make him fall for me step by step. Then Luo Qianfan says, so, how about these 5,000 spirit stones to hire you to stay by my side and remind me of my arrogance? And as soon as they hear Luo Qianfan's words, they get very shocked. And the system also gets very shocked. Then Luo Qianfan says, is it not enough? How about 10,000 spirit stones a month? And Jang Chuan says, do you think Lady Yu would lower herself for your meager spirit stones? And Yu Yen says, Sword Cultivator Yu Yen pledges to accompany young Master Luo for life, in both indulgence and pleasure. And Jiang Chuan gets very shocked on hearing Yu Yan's words. Luo Qianfan was enjoying it a lot, and the system started breaking his heart into pieces. Jiang Chuan's heart also breaks because he feels that Yu Yan is a gold digger. And Yu Yan goes close to Luo Qianfan and says to him, brother, please show some self-respect. I belong to young Master Luo now. I don't know you well. Then Yu Yan starts feeding grapes to Luo Qianfan with her hands, seeing which the ladies on both sides of Luo Qianfan start getting angry. And Jiang Chuan gets very angry with Luo Qianfan and shouts at him, Luo Qianfan, I challenge you to a duel. And hearing Jiang Chuan's words, the system becomes very happy and laughingly says, hee, now your young master act won't work, will it? But Luo Qianfan is still relaxed and he says, oh, is that so? And Jiang Chuan says, Luo Qianfan, do you dare come down and fight me? And the system tells Luo Qianfan, so, now you're scared, aren't you? In the cultivation world, only strength rules. No matter how powerful your family background is, without strength, even a privileged slacker has to bow down. Don't you feel a burning desire to become stronger? I can help you become stronger if you just complete the task. But Luo Qianfan says, there is a hierarchy even among slackers. Ordinary slackers are arrogant and only bully the weak. Which of yours eyes sees that I'm scared? High-tier slackers look down on everyone and always end up being slapped in the face. But there are also those like me. A top-tier slacker. For a top-tier slacker, there's no need to worry about anything. Naturally, someone around me will take the initiative to solve it for me. And Lady Changyu comes in front of Luo Qianfan to fight for the protagonist, and she says to Jiang Chuan, one after another, you all disrespect my guests like this. Do you really think I won't kill? And Lady Changyu, she releases her dangerous spiritual power against which Jiang Chuan cannot stand. And everyone gets very scared after seeing Lady Changyu's aura and they say, what an overwhelming aura. Lady Changyu is that powerful? Lady Changyu usually only hosts immortal banquets, and rarely fights. We almost forgot that besides being a famous celestial chef, she's also a grand cultivator in the 7th realm of the Yang spirit stage. And when the system saw that Lady Changyu had come forward to fight in place of Luo Qianfan, then it was very shocking. She gets more shocked. Then Jiang Chuan says to Lady Changyu, why you? You're a 7th realm cultivator, bullying the weak. I refuse to accept this. And Luo Qianfan says, interesting. So when others rely on their cultivation to pressure you, it's bullying, but now that I'm not even at the foundation establishment, you're using your superior cultivation to challenge me? What does that make you? And after listening to Luo Qianfan's words, the people around him say, exactly. Allowing yourself to do it but not others, how shameless. These people have completely disgraced the name of sword cultivators. And after listening to those people's words, Jiang Chuan starts getting nervous. But he gets even more angry and says, damn it. Even if you're a 7th realm grand cultivator, I'll fight you. But then Lady Changyu attacks Jiang Chuan and that too with a small stick. But Lady Changyu's power is very high due to which Jiang Chuan is not able to stop her attack and he starts sliding away. But then someone comes behind Jiang Chuan and stops him from falling. He takes it. And seeing him, Lady Changyu becomes a little serious. And we see that Jiang Chuan's master has come to this place, and he says to Lady Changyu, please show mercy. Lady Changyu, may I ask what did my worthless disciple do to deserve such harsh treatment from you? Or do you think your treasure pavilion can simply disregard my Kanglan sword sect? And Yu Yen tells Luo Qianfan, young master, this is Elder Su of the Tsunlong sword sect. It's said he's at the peak of the 8th realm. He rarely appears as he's usually in section. He must have come out specially because of his direct disciple. And Luo Qianfan thinks, classic defeat the weak, face the master scenario, huh? That system is probably going to freak out again. And the system is very happy to see that elder gets shocked, and she starts laughing and she says, "Truly lucky, the heavens don't intend to abandon me yet. Now let's see if your helpers are of any use. What will you do now?" And Luo Qianfan thinks this system still doesn't understand the true value of being a top-tier slacker. And Lady Changyu says to the elder Su Changsu, "Why don't you ask your disciple first what exactly he did? And whom he offended?" And the elder says, "Even if your father, Lord Longyang, were here today, I would still demand justice for my disciple." And after listening to the words of the elder, Luo Qianfan says, "Your disciple tried to use his superior cultivation to challenge me. Saint Su, I wonder if you could also seek justice for me." And the elder says to Luo Qianfan asks, "And who might you be?" And Jang Chuan says, "Master, it's this despicable person. He relies on his family background to bully others. I couldn't stand it, so I challenged him to a duel." And Yu Yen shouts, "Don't twist the facts here. I sincerely admire young Master Luo's character, which is why I'm willing to serve him. How dare you fabricate lies like this?" And Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised seeing Yu Yan's anger, but he says, "Saint Su has been in seclusion for many years, so it's no surprise you don't recognize me. My family name is Luo." And as soon as the elder hears Luo Qianfan's family name, he gets very shocked and asks, "What relation do you have with Luo Wuji?" Luo Qianfan proudly replies, "He is my father." Then the system tells Luo Qianfan, "Quit struggling and follow this system's guidance quickly. How could a dignified saint possibly care about your family background? Only your own cultivation is the ultimate reliance." But now when the elder knows what Luo Qianfan's family name? And what is his relation with his family? Now the elder's tone changes and he politely says, "Ah, so you're the son of the Luo family patriarch." And the system is very shocked when it sees that now the elder is talking very politely to Luo Qianfan. And Jang Chuan is shocked to see the changed tone of the elder. And the elder laughs and says to Luo Qianfan, "I was wondering where such a dazzling genius had appeared from. Oh my, look at this situation, isn't this a case of attacking one's own people?" Then the elder hits Jiang Chuan on the head and says to him, "You fool! Quickly apologize to young Master Luo. Young Master Luo is such a noble figure, he would never do the things you accused him of." And the system is very shocked to see the actions of the elder. And Luo Qianfan laughs and says to the elder, "Misunderstandings are bound to happen. It's good that we've cleared things up. Saint Su, you know my father?" And the elder says, "The prestigious Luo family is famed far and wide. I'm but a humble nobody, not even worthy of your father's acquaintance. Years ago, I had the honor of seeing him from afar. He was truly a transcendent figure, a celestial descended to the mortal realm. You fool, quickly thank you young Master Luo for his generosity." Then Jiang Chuan goes ahead and bows before Luo Qianfan and says to him, "Young Master Luo, thank you for your generosity." And Luo Qianfan like a gentleman says, "It's just a small matter. Sorry for the commotion, everyone. This banquet was meticulously prepared by Lady Changyu. Let's not waste the fine food. Come, let the banquet continue. Let's have drinks." But Jiang Chuan betrays and moves forward to attack Luo Qianfan with a sword, and he says to Luo Qianfan, "You think I'm convinced? Die." And as soon as they see that Jiang Chuan has betrayed and now he has attacked Luo Qianfan with a sword, everyone gets very worried for Luo Qianfan. But the system is happy and she says, "There's another twist." But Luo Qianfan still has a smile on his face, and just as Jiang Chuan's attack was about to hit Luo Qianfan, a barrier is formed in front of Luo Qianfan, seeing which Jiang Chuan gets shocked. And we see that Luo Qianfan is wearing a pendant on his neck which is a very powerful treasure, which stops Jiang Chuan's attack and pushes him away. And everyone gets shocked seeing Luo Qianfan's pendant, and they say, "The ancestral dragon's aura. That's the ancestral dragon pendant." And Jiang Chuan hits a stone and falls on the ground. Then Luo Qianfan smilingly says, "Life is too short. There are so many interesting things to do. Why waste all that energy on endless conflicts?" And the system again becomes very sad and it says there's no twist at all. Then Luo Qianfan takes off the pendant from his neck and he says to the elder, "Saint Su, A master who doesn't teach properly is neglectful. You should discipline this disciple of yours well. And the elder says, Young Master Luo, please calm your anger. I will severely punish this rebellious disciple and give you a satisfactory explanation. And Luo Qianfan throws away the pendant, and while leaving he says, My mood is ruined. Lady Changyun, you're the host of this banquet. How they compensate afterwards is up to you to decide. And Lady Changyu bows down and says goodbye to Luo Qianfan, but Lady Changyu is very angry with Elder, and she says in an angry voice, Su Changsu dash. Do you know how long I've been preparing to invite young Master Luo to this banquet? And Elder says, Lady Changyu, I'm truly sorry. It's all because of my poor teachings, Lady Changyu. I'm willing to compensate. I'll compensate for all your losses. After some time we see that Elder and Jang Chuan are outside the sect because they have been thrown out of the sect. And Elder says to Jang Chuan, You've been my disciple since your childhood, and your cultivation path has been too smooth. This setback is a good lesson for you. But Jiang Chuan angrily calls Elder a coward, and Elder gets very angry on hearing this, but Jiang Chuan says to Elder, I said you're a coward, Master. That Luo Qianfan is nothing but a useless waste with a good background. And you submitted to him, you're worse than that waste. But then Elder slaps Jiang Chuan on his cheek and says to him, I thought you were just impulsive, but it turns out you're simply brainless. Did you ever consider what would happen to our sect if you had actually killed Luo Qianfan with your sneak attack today? But now Jiang Chuan becomes very sad and he starts leaving from here. And the elder asks Jiang Chuan where he is going? But Jiang Chuan leaves without saying anything, and seeing him leave from here, the elder says, Forget it. Let him calm down on his own for a while. Then we see Jiang Chuan in a corner who is very angry and he is hitting his hand on the wall, and he says, Luo Qianfan, I'll kill you sooner or later. But then someone says to Jiang Chuan, Do you want to kill Luo Qianfan? And when Jiang Chuan looks back, there are 3 people in black dress and one of them says, Who we are isn't important. What's important is, do you want to kill Luo Qianfan with your own hands? So Jiang Chuan says, Of course. If I don't kill him, I, Jiang Chuan, swear I am no man. Then scene shifts Luo residence. And Luo Qianfan is saying, I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm dying from comfort. This is truly how life should be lived. But the system appears to interfere in Luo Qianfan's life and says, Don't give up on your life like this. Don't you have any dreams? Aren't you ashamed of wasting such a golden opportunity as a transmigrator? Do you not feel bad about wasting an opportunity like this? And Luo Qianfan thinks it would be perfect if not for this annoying system. And the system says, Protective artifacts can only shield you temporarily. Only your own cultivation is your eternal support. And then Luo Qianfan stands up and starts going somewhere, seeing which the system becomes happy and she says, What? Have you finally come to your senses and decided to cultivate? As I thought. I knew there was hope for you, host. And Luo Qianfan says to the system, Thanks for reminding me. I almost forgot. And the system says, If you like, I can remind you every day. Then Luo Qianfan opens a door. And we see that there are lots of pendants in it which are more than 90 plus. And seeing that the system gets very shocked and Luo Qianfan wears a pendant, and he says, That I hadn't put on a new amulet after using the last one. Back to my massager. And the system is in a very big shock. She thought that Luo Qianfan will do all the cultivation, but Luo Qianfan is not going to do anything like that. And now the system gets angry at her, and she says, Damn it. You're forcing me now. I originally wanted to act like a normal system with you, but all I got in return was cold treatment. No more pretending. And listening to the system, Luo Qianfan asks the system, What are you trying to do? So the system shows Luo Qianfan a fruit and tells him, This yuan-gathering fruit, once eaten, eating it will allow you to refine pure yuan qi, equivalent to 100 days of cultivation. Just a little effort. And this will be your reward. But Luo Qianfan has no interest in that fruit. So the system starts showing Luo Qianfan a lot of treasures and tells him, Don't like the yuan-gathering fruit? No problem, I've got more. How about blood jade coral, nascent soul fruit, Bodhi flowers, or a 9-turn golden lotus? With a little effort, all these treasures can be yours. System Manual, Rule 5, appropriate incentives can be used to guide the host. But Luo Qianfan says stop it. I still need to finish my massage. And the system gets frustrated and then says, you've forced me to bring out my trump card. How about this? This is the 9-turn silver star fire tree. Every 100 years, it grows a single branch, and its leaves can nourish the soul. And Luo Qianfan gets a little interested in seeing the fire tree, and the system says to Luo Qianfan, okay? Do you even know the value of this tree? It's a top-tier celestial spiritual plant, extremely rare in the world. But then an old man comes there, and he is Luo Dingho, Luo Qianfan's second grandfather, top-tier alchemist. And Luo Qianfan greets Grandpa and asks him, Second Grandpa, what brings you here? Second Grandpa laughs and says, ha ha ha, I came especially to thank you. Thanks to your relationship advice last time, I feel Lihua has become much closer to me recently. But then Second Grandpa's attention goes to the fire tree, and he says, could this be the 9-turn silver star fire tree? And System gets happy and she says, oh, finally, someone who knows its value. And Luo Qianfan says, Second Grandpa, you're also into bonsai? And System says, this isn't bonsai. And Second Grandpa says, ugh, putting this thing here is just a nuisance. I've made a yuan spirit pill with the 10-turn silver star fire tree as the main ingredient. It's even better than the tree itself, and it won't harm your soul. Plus, it's chicken flavored. And when the system sees so many yuan spirit pills, it gets very shocked. And Luo Qianfan thanks Grandpa, and Grandpa says there are 200 or 300 pills in this bag. It should last you a few years. And looking at the system, it seems as if it is after some kind of host to make it its master? Then the system takes out a book, and it says, Major Crisis. This is absolutely the biggest crisis in this system's professional career. If you don't like spiritual treasures, I also have celestial weapons and mystical artifacts. As long as you're willing to put in a little effort, they can all be yours. And then a servant comes to Luo Qianfan and says to him, Young master, the Kanglan Sword sect has sent an apology gift. And Luo Qianfan asks, oh? What did they send? So the servant says, mostly some worthless celestial weapons, but among them is the Kanglan sect's ancestral Kanglan water-splitting sword. It's pretty decent. Please take a look, young master. And Luo Qianfan starts looking at the sword. Then he says to Yu Yan, I remember you're a sword cultivator, right? Then this sword is yours. And Yu Yan becomes happy and thanks Luo Qianfan. But the system is getting very angry because her weapon is nothing but a worthless one. After some time the system says to Luo Qianfan, I have top-tier cultivation techniques that can help you quickly become immortal. But Luo Qianfan does not pay attention to the system's words, and he says to Yu Yan, what? Haven't you practiced any good techniques? My Luo family's scripture library has collected 3,000 immortal techniques. Go there and choose a few for yourself. Now that you're under my command, you can't lose face. And on hearing Luo Qianfan's words, the system gets very angry and says, this host is too difficult to guide. Next day Luo Qianfan is sitting and fishing. Then the system sees a warning sign and says, warning. System error, self-checking in progress. Wary. And Luo Qianfan thinks, he has it reached its breaking point. It would be nice if it could unbind itself now. But then someone says to Luo Qianfan, stay focused, a fish just bit the bait. And as soon as Luo Qianfan hears this, he quickly pulls up the fishing rod due to which he has caught a fish. And a man comes in front of him and says to him, lucky catch, it's a redtail. After refining this, it could equal 100 years of martial cultivation. And he is Luo Wanfu warlord and a martial saint. And Luo Qianfan says to Fourth Uncle, you know I'm not interested in these things. So Fourth Uncle says, your father is about to come out of seclusion. If he sees that your cultivation hasn't progressed in these years, aren't you afraid of his scolding? And Luo Qianfan says, no worries if he scolds me. I'll just go complain to mother. And Fourth Uncle starts laughing and he says, to be able to say, complain, so confidently, that's quite a skill of yours. And then a man comes behind Fourth Uncle and that man gives something to Fourth Uncle and goes from there. Then fourth uncle starts looking at the letter. And Luo Qianfan also notices it, and he asks fourth uncle, "What is it, fourth uncle? Something wrong?" So fourth uncle says it's nothing, just that with yours father about to break through. Some people are getting restless. Just a bunch of clowns. After some time, Luo Qianfan is sitting comfortably and reading the book, and he is thinking, speaking of which, after father's breakthrough this time, he'll be a true immortal, right? This spine-chilling realm hierarchy, isn't it just like the education system from my previous life? Why could I possibly invest my limited life into this endless rat race? Why can't that system girl understand? And then Luo Qianfan gets a system notification, system self-upgrade successful. You are now bound to the slacker system, and then the system appears to disturb Luo Qianfan's peaceful life, and she says to Luo Qianfan, "Congratulations, host. By completing slacker tasks, you will receive super rewards." But Luo Qianfan gets disappointed seeing the system, and he thinks that it has come again to trouble me? And Luo Qianfan refuses the system, and the system asks Luo Qianfan that why are you refusing me? So in response to this, Luo Qianfan says, "No reason, I just don't want to." And Luo Qianfan thinks, are systems this desperate nowadays? But the system keeps bothering Luo Qianfan, and she says, "I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Even changed my name for you. You must slack off. You love slacking off the most." And Luo Qianfan closes his ears because of the system's repeated shouting. Then he says, "You still don't understand the true essence of slacking off. So what if you changed your name? If you slack off with a purpose, doesn't this kind of slacking off just become another form of rat race?" And the system gets shocked after listening to Luo Qianfan, and she says, "I am speechless, and even feel like it makes some sense." And then a boy comes to that place, and his name is Yu Huang. And Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised on seeing Yu Huang, and he asks, "Weren't you grounded by your father? How did you come here?" So Yu Huang says, "There's a courtesan competition at Linglong Pavilion today, so I sneaked out." So Luo Qianfan says, "Aren't you afraid your father will punish you?" So in response to this, Yu Huang showed Luo Qianfan something which shocked me too, and he shows his back and says, "It's fine, he's already punished me." And seeing this, Luo Qianfan says, "That you don't think about bandaging yourself?" But Yu Huang smilingly says to Luo Qianfan, "Brother Luo, care to join me at Linglong Pavilion?" And Luo Qianfan says, "You're not using me as a shield because you're afraid your father will be watching over you, are you?" But Yu Huang emotionally blackmails Luo Qianfan and says to him, "Brother Luo, this younger brother of yours truly wants to go to Linglong Pavilion." And listening to Yu Huang, Luo Qianfan also becomes a little emotional, and he says, "Fine, I have nothing else to do anyway. I'll go with you to see this courtesan competition." And Yu Huang thanks Luo Qianfan. And the system is listening to their conversation, but the system starts smiling, and she says, "Not cultivating but going to brothels to listen to music. Slacker achievement unlocked." And then Luo Qianfan's body starts glowing, and the system says to Luo Qianfan, "Received spiritual energy as reward," and the cultivation level rapidly increased. And a golden-colored aura starts coming out of Luo Qianfan's body, which goes up tearing the sky, and seeing this everyone gets surprised, and Jang Chuan also sees this thing, and he says, "This is resonance of the great Tao." And the man in black clothes says, "Could it be that Luo Wuji is about to exit seclusion and face his tribulation? Impossible! How could it be so soon? Heaven does not favor me, allowing this madman to advance so quickly." Then one of the old men says, "Don't panic, it's just the resonance of the Tao right now, the tribulation clouds haven't formed yet, but it looks like we'll have to move our plan ahead. Keep a close eye on Luo Qianfan's movements. As soon as he leaves the mansion, we'll take action." And the other black-clothed man says, "Isn't it too hasty to act now?" But the old man says, "Time waits for no one. That Luo Wuji has profound foundations, his true immortal tribulation is almost guaranteed success. The only way to injure him is to kill his son before the tribulation, shattering his Tao heart, and using them tribulation against him. Jiang Yishe, the immortal Luo family has long been a scourge. Whether we can slay this villain now depends entirely on you." We then see Luo Qianfan, who is shocked, and Yu Huang is a little surprised. but he is very happy for Luo Qianfan and he says, "Young Master Luo? What was that just now? Did you awaken your true divinity, or did you invite a deity to possess you? You never seem to cultivate, but turns out you were secretly working hard." But Luo Qianfan says, "It's not what you think. This was an accident. I'm not the hard-working type at all." And Yu Huang says, "Brother Luo, don't worry, I get it playing dumb to catch the tiger, right?" And Luo Qianfan tries to make Yu Huang understand and says to him, "You don't get anything. I told you, it's not like that." And then System comes behind Luo Qianfan and she says, "Phew, congratulations on your cultivation breakthrough, Master." And Luo Qianfan says, "Was this your doing, you troublemaker?" And System laughs and thinks, he, after experiencing the joy of a breakthrough, have you changed your mind? Little by little, I'll slowly bring you down." And Luo Qianfan thinks, failed to persuade, now resorting to force, this System girl is really annoying. Then the scene shifts, Linglong Pavilion. There are many females here who are attracting men towards themselves and all the people here are enjoying themselves a lot, and there is a lot of hustle-bustle in this place. And then a servant comes running to a lady and says to that lady, "Oh, my dear, hurry up, will you?" Then the lady says, "What's the rush?" The more a man can't get something, the more interested he becomes. So the man says, "It's different today though, this customer is a young master from the Immortal Luo family, not just anyone." And the man does not know that behind him there are strange black hands which quickly grab the man and the lady. And then a man wearing black clothes comes to that place, and he looks dangerous. Then he shows his face, half of his face has a black aura spread over it. Then the man opens a small bottle and says, "Time's running out. Looks like we'll have to send Li Mei in." And something starts coming out of the small bottle, and it looks like a ghost. Then the man says to the ghost, "Possess this woman's body, get close to the target." And the ghost says to that man, after this, "Give me back my freedom." But the man in black cloth uses some technique due to which the ghost starts feeling a lot of pain and he says, "You're in no position to make demands. Now possess this woman." And that lady gets very scared but that ghost says sorry to that lady and possesses her body and now she has completely entered inside the girl's body. And now she is controlling the lady. And seeing this the man in black cloth is happy and he says, "Good. Quickly get things in order. The prey is about to arrive." After some time we see that there is a lot of crowd at this place, and everyone is enjoying themselves and the girls are dancing. Then the same possessed lady offers a drink to Luo Qianfan. And Luo Qianfan starts looking at that lady and this lady's name is Madame Courtesan and she says, "Young master, you seem unhappy. Could it be that you're dissatisfied with me?" So Luo Qianfan says, "It's nothing, just an annoying fly that keeps buzzing around me." And after listening to Luo Qianfan's words, the System feels that Luo Qianfan is talking about him. And Luo Qianfan thinks this out-of-control System is bound to get me into trouble one day. Sigh, why is she so obsessed with making me cultivate? Then Madame Courtesan's attention goes towards Luo Qianfan's pendant. Then a servant comes to that place and he says to Luo Qianfan, "Young master, a sword cultivator from the Kanglan sword sect, and wishes to meet with you in person and apologize." And Luo Qianfan says, "Kanglan sword sect? Let him in." And after some time Jang Chuan comes to Luo Qianfan and Luo Qianfan looks at Jang Chuan and says, "So, it's you. Here to present treasures again? Your Kanglan sword sect really does rely on that one trick." And Jang Chuan says, "A few days ago, I lost my senses and tried to harm you, causing you to lose a top-tier protective artifact. I've come with treasures to apologize." But Jiang Chuan thinks, "Enjoy your moment of pride. Once I kill that good-for-nothing playboy, I'll come for you, you arrogant woman who won't even look at me properly." Then the servant shows the artifact to Luo Qianfan and Luo Qianfan also starts looking at the artifact carefully. But then Madame Courtesan uses her power to destroy Luo Qianfan's pendant, and the System notices this, and he gets a little scared. She is shocked, but she is happy inside and she says, "Well, now things are getting interesting." System Manual, Article 13. Putting the host in life and death crises can increase their dependence on the system. My chance has come again. And Luo Qianfan looks at the system and he thinks, this guy. What's she scheming this time? And the system rewards Luo Qianfan and says, host lasers around again, slacker bonus activated, slacker gift package awarded. And Luo Qianfan looks at the system with angry eyes and says to it, stop messing around. Then we see Jang Chuan, who is now ready to use one of his techniques, and he understands that the time has come. Then he starts activating the butterfly formation, seeing which Yu Huang gets very scared. But then a soldier comes in front of Luo Qianfan to protect Luo Qianfan. And the soldier attacks Jang Chuan and destroys his formation. And then we see that the men in black clothes come there and the soldier asks them who they are. But they don't say anything and activate a formation, due to which a pressure is generated, and seeing this they get very surprised and the soldier says, damn, it's an imprisonment formation. Then the soldier looks at the man in black clothes and understands what he has to do. Then he orders his soldier and tells, those 4 are the core, kill them to break the formation and save the young master. Then we see Jang Chuan, who is very angry, and he says to Luo Qianfan, the formation is complete. No one above foundation establishment can enter now. Luo Qianfan, I want to see how you'll escape this time. And Luo Qianfan says, did you forget? There's still a foundation establishment swordsman here. And Yu Yan attacks Jang Chuan and Jang Chuan gets angry seeing this. But Yu Yan tells him, I belong to young Master Luo now. How can I just sit back and watch you harm him? And Jang Chuan says, fine, then I'll deal with you first. Then both of them start fighting. Then the system tells Luo Qianfan, that new subordinate of yours doesn't look like he's a match for that guy. How does it feel to be in despair? And Yu Huang gets a little nervous and tells Luo Qianfan, Brother Luo, going out for fun with you is way too risky. And Luo Qianfan says, you're quite the gentleman, aren't you? When those poison insects flew in, you instinctively protected the beauty beside you. And Yu Huang gets happy on hearing this and he says, my dad always taught me, a man's success depends on the right time, place, and people. The same goes for failure. But if a man can't protect the woman by his side, he's utterly useless. And the system thinks, pretend all you want. Just wait until you realize your protective artifact has failed, you'll come begging me for help. Then the system imagines how Luo Qianfan will finally beg for help from him. What? My protective artifact is broken. System lady, save me. You've unlocked the Slacker's Mega Gift Pack. You received 5 critical hit block cards. Critical hit block. As expected, when it matters most, the system lady is the most reliable. I'll listen to her from now on. And imagining this, the system starts laughing, and seeing the system laughing like this, Luo Qianfan says, this system is getting crazier day by day. And then Jang Chuan hits Yu Yan. And seeing this, the system starts getting happy. Then Jang Chuan starts moving towards Luo Qianfan and says to him, Luo Qianfan, now it's your turn. And the system happily says, finally, time for this system to shine. And then someone breaks the roof and enters the pavilion, and due to his power Jang Chuan falls away. And we see that a dangerous man has come in front of Jang Chuan, and he is Luo family's divine guard, Su Gao. And Su Gao looks at Jang Chuan and says to him, arrogant brat, drop your sword, and I'll leave your corpse intact. And Jang Chuan gets scared and he says, how could this be? Weren't they supposed to hold out for at least for an incense stick? It's only been a moment, damn it! This shouldn't be happening. And Jang Chuan tries to run away from this place to escape from Su Gao. But when Su Gao sees that he is running away, then how can he let Jang Chuan go so easily? So he quickly goes and holds Jang Chuan's head and says to him, attempting to assassinate our young master, you must die. And Jang Chuan says in fear, no. Please. I'm from the Konglan sword sect. And seeing this, the system becomes sad again. But then someone says, Brother Luo, watch out. And we see that Yu Yan attacks Luo Qianfan, and seeing this the system becomes happy and she says, there's still a chance. Look at my critical hit blow. But then someone comes to block Yu Yan's attack and hits Yu Yan very easily and throws her away. And she is Luo Qianfan's personal attendant Ing. And the system be like, seriously, you're hiding all these fucking people around you just to play mahjong. And Yu Yan recalls that she was given a mission and was told, Your mission is to infiltrate and stay close to Luo Qianfan, wait for their opportunity, and assassinate him. And Yu Yan thinks success, this fool is so easy to deceive. Humph, when I use this sword to kill you later, I wonder what you'll think. As expected of the infamous foolish young master, he probably doesn't even know the value of this scripture pavilion. Too bad the mission comes first, otherwise I'd love to take a look at the rare manuscripts of the immortal Luo family. And Luo Qianfan says to Yu Yan, I thought you'd keep up the act for a bit longer, but you reveal your true colors quicker than I expected. And Yu Yan gets a little surprised. Then she says, the world sees you as a fool and wastrel, but it seems they've misunderstood. When did you start suspecting me? So Luo Qianfan says, whether I gifted you a sword or awarded you cultivation technique, you always gave me the same wide-eyed, fake reaction. I couldn't sense any excitement from you at all. It's hard to believe you're just an ordinary sword cultivator with no background. Now you have two choices in front of you. First, tell me everything you know right now and die painless death. Second, I'll leave you with some torture experts, and then you'll tell me everything as you approach your death slowly. And Yu Yan starts grinding her teeth and she says, do as you wish, kill me or torture me? And Luo Qianfan says, good, I like your rebellious spirit. Then Luo Qianfan says to Su Gao, it seems my fourth uncle is using me as bait to fish. I knew something was off when the shadow guard handed him a secret message in front of me. Now tell me, what's going on this time? And Su Gao says the divine guards received news that some people don't want the Patriarch to break through, so a group has secretly infiltrated the city, planning to assassinate you to provoke the family head's heart demon and interfere with his tribulation. And the system comes behind Luo Qianfan and smilingly says, oh my, I smelled the scent of danger. And Luo Qianfan thinks your mood swings are too extreme. And the system says, enemies lurking in the shadows are indeed hard to defend against. What do you think, feeling scared? At times like these, only having power in your own hands works. How about it? Hurry up and start the mission, the rewards are very generous. And Luo Qianfan says, even now, you still don't understand the true value of my playboy act. Then Ing says, young master, based on this situation, strategy no 19th, 45th, 60th, and 72nd can be used from your military strategies to resolve this situation. And Luo Qianfan says, don't waste time. Just use the 72nd strategy. And Su Gao asks Ing, what is this 72nd strategy? So Ing tells, when the young master was 13, he hired 3,000 strategists, and after a year, they formulated 167 strategies. They cover various possibly assassination attempts, ambushes, and other emergencies that might occur in the future. And Su Gao laughs and says, as expected of the young master, always thinking 2 steps ahead and preparing for any situation. And the system says, really, is it necessary for you to exaggerate like this? And Luo Qianfan says, why bother thinking for myself when I can have others handle all the details? That night, the men in black clothes are talking and they are saying, curfew enforced, city sealed by formations, everyone, stay indoors and don't wander. And the other man says, what do we do? The Luo family has used a grand formation to seal the city. Now, not even a fly or a demon can escape. I told you the plan to assassinate Luo Qianfan was too rushed. Now we've alerted them, not only did we fail, but we're also trapped. Then the old man says to them, enough. At this point, there's only one option left. And another man asks, what option? So the old man says, burn the boats, kill Luo Qianfan at all costs. So they say, what? Kill Luo Qianfan at all costs? But he has the Luo family's direct bloodline seal on his body. Right, if we kill him, we'll be marked by the heaven's blood imprint, and the Luo family will hunt us down for generations. And the old man says, I know you have your concerns, but we have no way out. We can't leave the city, and it's only a matter of time before we're discovered. If that happens, we'll die anyway. And all 3 are surprised to hear the old man's words. Then we see Luo Qianfan and he says, it's been a while since I've come up here to enjoy the view. Then Luo Qianfan sees those men in black clothes and seeing them he says, oh ho, looks like you're being desperate, ready to jump like cornered dogs. And they try to run away from this place, but because of the formation they are not able to run away, and they say, "Too bad, all routes have been blocked." And then those people start moving towards Luo Qianfan, seeing which Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised, but he starts smiling and says that after all these people are coming towards me. Then the people in black clothes say that we will have to attack Luo Qianfan together, and they attack Luo Qianfan. But then thunder starts in the sky, seeing which Luo Qianfan gets happy and he says, "It's thundering, time to grab the laundry in before it rains." And then there is an explosion, seeing which the people in black clothes get very shocked, and when the smoke starts clearing slowly, then someone says, "Behold, this is the essence of the 72nd military strategy." And Luo Qianfan says, "First, stir the grass to startle the snake, then push your opponent until they're cornered like a desperate dog, and finally call the parents." And he is Luo Qianfan's father. Then we see that the sky is covered with dark clouds and there is thundering in the sky. And when the people in black clothes see Luo Wuji, they get very scared and they say, "Damn it! How did Luo Wuji came out from seclusion so early?" And Luo Wuji is very angry and he shouts at those people, "You vermin, dare to harm my son?" And Luo Wuji releases his aura, due to which those people are not even able to block the aura, and blood starts coming out of their mouth, and they get injured. And seeing this, the old man gets very shocked and he thinks, he hasn't even successfully passed his tribulation yet. How can there be such a huge gap when we're all in the false immortal realm? And the people of the man in black clothes start running away in fear, and the old man asks them to come back to fight. But they are not going to stay here, they start running to save their lives. But Luo Wuji tells them, "Since you're here, don't even think about leaving." And Luo Wuji attacks them and kills many of them. And seeing this, the old man asks his companions to hold on, but Luo Wuji tells them, "I will cut off your path to immortality." And Luo Wuji makes a very dangerous attack on them, seeing which both Luo Qianfan and the system are very surprised. But Luo Qianfan is happy and he tells the system, "See, compared to your so-called grand gift, this is what real power looks like." And after listening to Luo Qianfan, the system gets angry and disappears from there. Then we see the old man who is trembling with fear and he says, "Just how deep are Luo Wuji's foundations?" And then someone says, "Why is the tribulation having almost no effect on him?" And the old man hears the voice and understands that their ancestor has come here to save them. And we see that a huge spiritual hand catches those people and they get happy after seeing it and say, "The ancestor has come to save us, we're saved." And Luo Wuji understands after seeing the spiritual hand that this is a true immortal. But he starts smiling and then he takes out his weapon and he says, "Trying to save someone from me? A mere true immortal isn't qualified to make me go back on my word." And then thundering starts in the sky, seeing which Luo Wuji gets a little angry, then he does an attack due to which the sky is cut into two parts, and seeing this the old man is shocked and he says, "He split the tribulation clouds, is this guy even still a false immortal?" And Luo Qianfan says, "This is like the cultivator version of overkill. Nothing left to see here, let's head back." And as soon as Luo Qianfan moves forward, some power starts pulling Luo Qianfan towards itself, seeing which Luo Qianfan gets very shocked. And Luo Qianfan is drawn to the sky, and the one doing this is his father, and his father says, "How does it feel looking at this?" So Luo Qianfan says, "Well, it's kinda flashing." And Luo Wuji starts gathering thunder in his hands and he says, "Anything else?" And Luo Qianfan says, "That kind of noisy?" And his father says, "This true immortal tribulation is quite different from the ordinary tribulations you know about. Watch closely. Consider it a learning experience. When you face enemies, throw this at them. It's much better than any lightning talisman." And his father calms down a little. Then Luo Qianfan starts looking at the system. Then he keeps the lightning talisman with him. And the system starts looking at Luo Qianfan, and Luo Qianfan says to the system, "You really enjoy watching people face tribulations, huh? You're not pushing me to cultivate just to see me go through one, right?" So the system says, "No, never mind." And saying this, the system disappears again. Several hours later, fourth uncle is preparing to drink tea comfortably, and then Luo Qianfan comes to fourth uncle and he is a little angry, and he says to fourth uncle, "Fourth uncle, that was a bit unfair. Didn't you promise not to use me as bait anymore? So fourth uncle says to Luo Qianfan, it's my fault, Qianfan. Tell me what you want, and fourth uncle will make it up to you. And Luo Qianfan happily says, anything? Even that fishing rod made by the Shukong treasure pavilion? And on hearing this, fourth uncle becomes a little nervous, and then Luo Qianfan's father comes there, and he goes and sits in front, and fourth uncle starts making tea for Luo Wuji, and he says, congratulations, Patriarch, for achieving the true immortal realm. May your immortal blessings be eternal. So Luo Wuji says, Wanfu, we're brothers, no need for such formality. And Luo Wuji says to Luo Qianfan, you've reached the foundation establishment? So Luo Qianfan says, it was accidental. And his father says, it's a pity that you broke through a bit late. If you were at spirit condensation or in the late stage of foundation establishment, you could participate in the opening of the Ancient Immortal Academy's secret realm. But with just early stage foundation establishment, even if you enter, it won't be much help. And Luo Qianfan says, what a pity. But he thinks, Ancient Immortal Academy? Sounds troublesome. Just for that, I definitely won't break through to the late stage of foundation establishment. And Luo Wuji says, speaking of which, Qianfan, you're of marriageable age now. And Luo Qianfan says, what? Why bring that up all of a sudden? And his father says, the Qintian dynasty has been wanting to form an alliance with our Luo family through marriage. After careful consideration, you're the perfect match. It'll also help you settle down. Soon, they'll come to discuss your marriage. And fourth uncle says, the Qintian dynasty? It couldn't be, that Empress, right? So Luo Wuji says, indeed. Qianfan, have you heard of her? And Luo Qianfan says, I've heard a bit. And Luo Qianfan thinks, this isn't good. Empress Lin Wanlan of the Qintian dynasty, though newly enthroned, has already made many significant moves in court, causing quite a stir. Being the Empress's husband means my peaceful life will be completely ruined. Then Luo Qianfan says to his father, Father, for such a major matter, shouldn't we, no need to discuss this further. And his father says, also, don't think about running to your mother. She's been hoping for you to marry soon, and after learning about this girl, she's quite satisfied. And Luo Qianfan thinks, I didn't expect that even after transmigrating, I couldn't escape being forced into marriage. And fourth uncle says, when do you plan to announce your breakthrough to the world? And Luo Wuji says, you handle that. I've just broken through, and I need some time in seclusion to stabilize my realm. And Luo Qianfan thinks, no way, I can't give up like this. For the sake of my peaceful life. And then Luo Qianfan gets an idea and he says to his father, Father, although these people were trying to disrupt your true immortal tribulation, they targeted me. I want to personally seek revenge. And his father says, normally, you avoid getting involved in these matters because you find them troublesome, don't you? And Luo Qianfan says, after this assassination attempt, I've come to many realizations. When it comes to revenge, I have to handle it myself. And his father says, since you want to seek revenge personally, I'll leave it to you. Then Luo Qianfan starts leaving and he says to his father, all right, Father, I'll go interrogate the captured ones and find out who's the mastermind. And Luo Qianfan starts running away from here, and seeing him going, Luo Wuji says, as for the Qintian dynasty matter, it's related to you as well. What's your opinion? Then fourth uncle says, I've been idle lately, so I don't mind getting involved. But Qianfan, I doubt he'll be very happy about it. And Luo Wuji says, during my tribulation today, I realized its power is getting weaker compared to before. Perhaps in the near future, we'll see emperors sovereign and false immortals everywhere. And fourth uncle says, the path to immortality is easy, yet people prefer the side paths. Now that heaven has become more lenient, it could mean a prosperous era of immortality is coming. There's only a fine line between prosperity and case. And at night, Luo Qianfan is going somewhere with Ying, and Luo Qianfan thinks, I'll use this opportunity for revenge to lay low for a while. But then Luo Qianfan stops and starts looking at his pendant. Then we see the system, and the system is very sad, and she is not able to understand what she should do now. And I really feel very bad for the system that Luo Qianfan is not paying attention to her. But never mind, let's move ahead. Then the system says, after watching the tribulation, I don't know why, but my mood just turned down. And an error is seen in the eyes of the system, and then she understands what she should do now. And she starts looking at Luo Qianfan's memories, and the system sees Luo Qianfan's childhood memories, how he has grown up, and how he enjoys his life. And remembering all these memories, the system is getting happy because the system has been with Luo Qianfan since his childhood. And she says, ever since Luo Qianfan transmigrated, the system has been watching him. Finally, the host is going to start cultivating. The system can finally activate. And when Luo Qianfan created a fire for the first time from his cultivation, he was very happy. The system was also very happy to see him grow in cultivation, and she said, how cute, are you going to show it off? But the system gets shocked when she sees that Luo Qianfan is using the power of his cultivation to cook fish. That day, the system experienced its first disappointment using cultivation techniques to grill fish. I won't give up. At this time, Luo Qianfan was arranged to have one-on-one tutoring when Luo Wuji came out of seclusion. And the teacher says to Luo Qianfan, so, as I was saying, a cultivator's physique is crucial to their progress. But if the physics is too strong, it becomes an immortal physics, which actually hinders cultivation progress. And Luo Qianfan thinks, I knew breaking through to foundation establishment would be troublesome. And the teacher says, young master, although you only have grade B aptitude, with the family's resources, you shouldn't worry about this at all. You've just broken through foundation establishment, so remember to nourish your meridians daily. Your most important task now is to stabilize your cultivation. And Luo Qianfan says, alright, I'll nourish them properly. And Luo Qianfan thinks, just nurture them for a lifetime, the meridians are so cute, I must cherish them well. And then the system says to Luo Qianfan, after half-heartedly completing a class, vital energy plus 137. And then blood starts coming out of Luo Qianfan's mouth, seeing which the teacher is very surprised, and he comes to Luo Qianfan and asks him what happened. So Luo Qianfan says, it's nothing, just my meridians are suddenly overflowing with energy. And Luo Qianfan thinks I let my guard down. I thought the system had been quiet, but turns out it was planning a sneak attack. And the teacher says, phew. Luckily, it's just unstable energy. And Luo Qianfan says, I'm not feeling well today, so let's end the lessons here. And the master says, yes, young master. Please take care and rest. Then Luo Qianfan comes inside his room and he says to the system, you. What are you up to now? And the system starts laughing and she says, after our last conversation, I've come to a deep realization. As a slacker system, the tasks I issued were just pointless for the sake of slacking, with major design flaws. So I've learned from experience, and based on your daily routine, from now on, you won't need to worry about completing tasks anymore. Just watch, will ya? And Luo Qianfan says, you're surprisingly good at figuring out what the client wants. From then on, no matter what work Luo Qianfan does, he starts getting energy points from the system, like playing game with a friend, vital energy plus 739, enjoying at the beach, vital energy plus 99, enjoying a meal, vital energy plus 183. Congratulations, host, your cultivation has advanced to the late foundation establishment stage. And seeing such a situation, Luo Qianfan gets very angry and says, fine, if you're going to play dirty, don't blame me for doing the same. Then Luo Qianfan asks his servant for something which they have brought for Luo Qianfan in a big box, and they tell Luo Qianfan, young master, this is all we've gathered so far. And Luo Qianfan says, it should be enough for now. And the system asks Luo Qianfan, what are you planning to do? So Luo Qianfan opens a bottle and he tells the system, you'll find out soon. And Luo Qianfan eats a lot of pills in one go, seeing which the system does not understand anything. Inside Luo Qianfan's meridians, tiny spirit energy figures, and as soon as Luo Qianfan eats the pills, his energy starts flowing here and there. And we see that Luo Qianfan's physics power starts increasing and cultivation level starts decreasing, seeing which the system does not understand anything. And the system says to Luo Qianfan, you're actually trying to weaken your cultivation by improving your physique. And Luo Qianfan says, you think it's over? Tell the kitchen they don't need to prepare my dinner. Then the scene shifts, Patriarch's meeting hall, and Luo Wuji says, You're saying that my son, in order to quickly break through to late-stage foundation establishment, and enter that immortal ancient secret realm, forcefully cultivated until he coughed blood? And the teacher laughs and says, Yes, young master has been working really hard. And Luo Wuji also starts laughing and he says, Good. If my son is working this hard, how can I, as his father, let him down? Go to the treasury, retrieve the treasured 9 revolution breakthrough pill. I will personally help my son break through to the late foundation establishment. At night we see that all the boxes are empty and Luo Qianfan's physique power has increased. Physique, A rank, 99%, cultivation, mid-foundation establishment down. And after taking so many pills, Luo Qianfan's stomach is now full and he says, Ugh, just a bit more and it'll be an immortal physique. With this physique, breaking through to late foundation establishment is nearly as difficult as reaching the self-enlightenment stage. Then Luo Qianfan says to the system, You think you can beat me? And then Luo Qianfan's father comes there, seeing which Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised and his father says to him, I heard you've been worrying about breaking through late foundation establishment, Sai. Look at you, it's only been a few days, and yours the complexion has become so poor. It's my fault, I've put too much pressure on you. Here, this is the 9 revolution breakthrough pill from Treasure Pavilion. It can help cultivators below the 4 mortal realms break through 2 stages without restriction. I used to worry about your mentality, so I didn't want you relying on pills for breakthroughs. But times have changed. You've proven your dedication to the Tao. Now is the right time to use it. Quick, take it. Don't worry about the excess energy, I'll personally help you absorb it. And hearing this, the system becomes very happy. But Luo Qianfan is very shocked because he has already taken a lot of pills to reduce his cultivation level. And he says to his father, No way? You can't scam your son like this. Just like that, Luo Qianfan broke through 2 realms overnight, the self-enlightenment realm. Then the scene shifts to Linglong Pavilion. We see that suddenly some people open Madame Courtesan's door and come inside. And seeing those people, Madame Courtesan gets surprised and asks, Who are you people? And these people are Luo Qianfan's soldiers. And one of them says, Under the young master's order, I've come to buy out the courtesan's freedom. And then some people start talking and say, What's going on? Barging into a brothel at dawn to buy out a courtesan? Who's so domineering? And the other man says, Is there even a need to guess? In this city, who else dares to act so arrogantly? Of course, it can only be the infamous playboy of the immortal Luo family, Luo Qianfan. Then the soldier says to Madame Courtesan, This way, Madame Courtesan. Due to the hasty arrangements, my young master feared you'd be lonely without familiar faces, so he ordered us to buy out your attendants as well to accompany you. And a man looks at Madame Courtesan and he thinks, Stay calm, observe the situation first. You did a good job hiding your act of corrupting his artifact. That playboy may not suspect you. And Madame Courtesan listens to that man. Then she says to the soldier, Thanks to young Master Luo's consideration, I was indeed worried about being all alone in the Luo mansion without anyone to talk to. And the soldier says, You misunderstand, we're not heading back to the Luo mansion. And Madame Courtesan gets surprised to hear this and she says, Not going to the Luo mansion? Then where? But then the crowd starts looking towards the sky and a shadow starts falling on them, seeing which they get surprised. Then when they look towards the sky, a plane is flying in the sky and seeing it they say, That is the thought travel boat of the immortal Luo family. It's beyond the 5 realms of mortal. I wonder what rank this ship might be. They say that 20 years ago, the Luo family's patriarch used this ship to cross 3 regions overnight, crossing 1,000,000 miles to wipe out 3 top-tier sections. Just thinking about it makes one's heart race. This is what we cultivators should aspire to. Forget it. Selling all of us probably wouldn't be enough for this boat to fly 5 meters. Friend, are you cultivating the path of emotionlessness? Why are your words so harsh? Then we see Luo Qianfan and Ing says to Luo Qianfan, Young master, why are we departing so hastily? The interrogation hasn't made much progress, only revealing hints of forces from the southern borders and western desert. And Luo Qianfan says there's no time. I can't stay at home for now, or I fear there'll be more accidents. And Ing says it's Ying's fault for letting those lowlifes disturb young master, please punish me. And Luo Qianfan says no, you've done well, the accident I speak of isn't about those rats. And then the system happily says to Luo Qianfan, well, if it isn't my host who's in the meditation realm, good morning, host. And Luo Qianfan thinks, if I stayed home too long, Father might completely team up with this system to set me up. Being lazy is hard, sigh. Then Luo Qianfan starts going ahead and he says, let's have a little improvisation. Let's just go on a little revenge trip. And Ing says, young master, the courtesan and her people have been settled on the boat. They seem to still be hopeful, and no suspicious behavior has been observed yet. And Luo Qianfan says, good, let's go meet our guest. Then we see Madame Courtesan in the ship's room and she is looking out of the window, and she remembers the past and what happened to her. She was caught by a man in the forest when she was in the form of a demon spirit. Then she was harassed by tying a chain around her neck. And she was told, your forest demon spirit tribe has 3 chances for symbiosis in life, your natural spies. You must master the ability to mimic anyone, only then can you fully utilize your tribe's talents. And Madame Courtesan is remembering all the things, but then someone comes there and asks her, do you like the view? In a few days, when we reach the borders of Jinluo Mountain, at night, the sky may reveal a colorful spectacle of Dao rhymes and radiant afterglows. It'll be even more beautiful. And Suna says, has young Master Luo seen the Dao resonance afterglow before? And Luo Qianfan says, never. I've only read about it in books. Then how does the young master know it will be beautiful? Because I'm going to see it, so I'm betting it'll be beautiful. And Madame Courtesan says, aren't you afraid that expecting more will lead to more disappointment? And Luo Qianfan laughingly says, at least the anticipation will make the journey enjoyable. Then Madame Courtesan says, then, young Master Luo, what kind of expectations do you have for me? Then Luo Qianfan says, my expectations for you? Probably to be a good teacher, with a bit of passion. And the system is watching the actions of both of them carefully. Then Luo Qianfan starts undressing Madame Courtesan and starts throwing her clothes away. After this, dual cultivation starts between these two and the system gets happy seeing all this. And she says to Luo Qianfan, congratulations, host! You've achieved interspecies dual cultivation. Vitality plus 1646. And it becomes night for Luo Qianfan while doing dual cultivation. But it has to be admitted that Luo Qianfan has a lot of stamina. Then he starts wearing his clothes and smilingly thinks, breaking through realms isn't all bad. With my current meditation realm cultivation and a grade physique, the resources needed to break through would be an astronomical figure for ordinary mid-tier sections. And then Luo Qianfan's attention goes towards the system which is sleeping in the air, and he also reads the notification and is very surprised. Years later, after historians' verification, this day became known as the Diplomatic Relations Day between the forest demon spirit tribe and humans. 2 days later, Luo Qianfan is walking in a very beautiful place, and while going ahead he is saying, so this is the legendary 4 Seasons maple forest? It truly is extraordinary. Books say that if you stand in the center of the maple forest, you can experience all 4 seasons at once. Let's go find it. And then Ing hears someone's footsteps and she becomes alert, and she says to Luo Qianfan, young master, did you hear that? It came from this direction. And both of them start going towards that direction and hide behind the bushes and watch. And they see that an old man is sitting on a rock in front, and there are small children around him, and something is hanging in a spider web above. And that old man starts ringing the one bell, and we see that all the children are hypnotized because of the bell. And then a child opens his eyes and he feels like yawning. And then he feels something, and when he looks in front of him, he sees the old man who is behaving strangely, and he is saying, you have no immortal destiny. Since you have no immortal destiny, then, you shall be my prey. And when the children know the real truth of the old man, they get very scared, and the old man catches one of the children and traps him in his net, but he is still saying that this is not enough for me, I need more. And so he is ready to catch more children again, But now the children start running away in fear. But how can that old man let those children go so easily? And then we see a girl who falls while running, and the old man comes behind that girl and says to her, "Little girl, why are you running? Don't you want to cultivate immortality?" And the little girl says to the scared old man, "You're a liar. You're not really teaching us how to cultivate immortality." And the old man says, "I passed down immortal techniques and taught you how to cultivate. How is that not teaching immortal cultivation? It's just that your immortal fate is too poor, you can't break through the barrier. Since you can't do it yourselves, then helping me break through won't be a waste of your life in this world." But then someone attacks the old man with a spear. Feeling that, the old man gets very shocked, but he dodges the spear attack and asks who it is. So we see Ing comes forward and holds her spear, and she says, "My young master says you've ruined his enjoyment of the forest, so he's sent me to stab you once with my spear. Stand still, don't dodge." And the old man says, "Arrogant fool! I'll use your flesh and blood to brew a medicinal soup." And Ing quickly comes to the old man and was about to put the spear in the old man's chest, but realizing this, the old man gets very nervous and with great difficulty dodges Madame Courtesan's attack. But Ing gives the old man a kick and throws him away, and Ing stands up again and jumps back on the old man to attack him and says to him, "What did you just say? Don't? There's no don't." And Ing makes a very dangerous attack on the old man, and seeing this the little girl gets very shocked, but then someone from behind says to the little girl, "It's done, you can chill now." And as soon as the little girl turns back and looks at Luo Qianfan, she gets very scared because she feels that there is a ghost behind her. And Luo Qianfan says to Ing, "Ing, I gave you so many cool finishing move lines, and you go with, 'There's no don't'? What's up with that?" And Ing says, "I forgot them all when I started fighting." And we see the body of the old man which slowly starts disappearing, which means he is trying to run away, and seeing this Luo Qianfan also gets shocked, and he says, "He fled quite quickly. Have the guards search the area. Follow the procedures we've used before." Then Ing asks the little girl, "Where are you from?" And the little girl says, "I'm from Xinyang village." And Ing says, "Do you know the way home?" So the little girl says, "No. It was my father who brought me here. To find an immortal master to cultivate." And Luo Qianfan says, "That wasn't an immortal master, it was an evil cultivator who's lost control of his mind." And the little girl says, "But some people really did succeed in cultivating. The so-called immortal master, that liar said it was because we didn't have enough immortal fate, that's why we couldn't cultivate." And Ing says, "Young master, we've already sent a communication talisman from the ship." And Ing starts looking at the little girl, and they both become silent. Then Ing says to Luo Qianfan, "Young master, that this girl has been cursed with the bridal curse." And Luo Qianfan asks, "Bridal curse? What's that?" So Ing tells, it's a sinister curse technique where a wisp of spiritual energy is implanted in the form of a curse mark on people who haven't started cultivating. With this curse, even those who can't sense spiritual energy can cultivate. But the energy belongs to the caster. The caster can take back the energy at any time, no matter how much the person has cultivated. They're just cultivating for someone else's benefit. That evil cultivator did this probably to improve these children's physiques, so they could better serve as his bait. And Luo Qianfan says, "What's the drawback of this method?" And Ing says, "It severely damages the foundation of the cursed person, and in serious cases, it could shorten their lifespan." And we see the little girl who has now become serious, and she says, "Immortal sister, I want to be your disciple. Please teach me how to cultivate immortality." And after listening to the little girl's words, Ing gets shocked, and Luo Qianfan also gets very shocked. After some time, Luo Qianfan's soldiers come to this place and start checking all the children who are trapped, and many children have already been killed. And the little girl is crying when she comes to know that it is a bridal curse, and she is saying, "Bridal curse? I can never cultivate immortality again?" And Ing says, "Yes, with this curse, all your cultivation efforts will ultimately be taken by someone else." And Luo Qianfan turns back and starts leaving, and he thinks, turns out, no matter which world, people can't escape being exploited. And Ing asks Luo Qianfan, "Young master, what should we do with this little girl?" So Luo Qianfan says, "Take her with us for now. Once we get to the city, have Su Gao and the others find out where her village is. Then the masked soldier says to Luo Qianfan, young master, all the other children have been buried. What should we do with the remaining altar? So Luo Qianfan says, clear it out. It's an eyesore. And Luo Qianfan starts looking towards the sky and he gets a little disappointed, but he says, what a pity, this beautiful forest has been ruined by human greed. Next day, Liuguang City, and they have come to this city, and seeing this place Madame Courtesan says, this city is so lively. And Luo Qianfan says, it's not always this lively. Today happens to be their god-welcoming day. There will be a parade with the god's statue later. And then Ying and the little girl come behind them, but Madame Courtesan is a little surprised to see Ying's face, and Ying says, young master specifically hired a group of wandering cultivators, experienced in adventures, to adjust the travel route for all sorts of situations, so we can get the best traveling experience. And Madame Courtesan says, master, you're so meticulous. And System gets a little irritated and she says, rich playbill. If only you spent that energy having your advisors make better cultivation plans for you. Then Luo Qianfan wants to focus on the little girl, and the little girl is very sad, but Luo Qianfan goes to the little girl and says to her, come on, don't look so gloomy when we're out to have fun. There are many joyful things in this world besides cultivating immortality. Come on, smile. But the little girl is still a little sad and she says, young master, I who cannot cultivate immortality, is nothing but a useless person. How can I smile? And Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised after listening to the girl's words, but after a while we see that the girl is enjoying a lot because Luo Qianfan has made the girl sit on a flying toy and is spinning her round and round, due to which the girl starts feeling dizzy and she says, young master, I can't keep spinning. My head's dizzy. Then Luo Qianfan uses his power and he says, still just a child at heart. And then a man sees the girl and calls her name, and when the girl sees him, she recognizes that he is her father, and she quickly goes to her father and hugs him. And her father asks her, Qinghe? Weren't you cultivating with the immortal master? How are you here? Did you run away? And the little girl gets scared after listening to her father, and she tells her father, Father, no. That immortal master is a fraud. But her father slaps the little girl and he cannot believe that the immortal master is a fraud. And seeing this thing, Madame Courtesan, Ying and Luo Qianfan get shocked. And the little girl's father angrily tells the little girl, are you out of your mind? How dare you slander the immortal master here? I paid such a great price for you to cultivate, and this is what you've learned. And the little girl says while crying, Father, I'm not lying. The immortal master put a curse on us. I can't become immortal, never. Never ever. And her father still doesn't believe it, but then his attention goes towards Luo Qianfan and he asks the little girl, Girl, don't listen to nonsense from others. That so-called curse, the immortal master said it's because your talent wasn't good enough. The curse is the only way you could cultivate immortality. And the little girl says, Father, you knew the immortal master was going to curse us? And her father says, cultivating immortality is a great thing. How could you expect to achieve it without paying some price? And the little girl starts crying a lot, but then her father hears something and his attention goes towards a statue, and seeing the statue, everyone starts looking at the statue. And as soon as the little girl sees the statue, she gets very scared and she says, the immortal master? How could it be him? But her father, seeing the statue, bends down on his knees and he says to the little girl, quickly kneel down, don't disrespect the immortal master. And we see that everyone has bowed down in front of the statue. And the eyes of the statue start shining. And as soon as Ying sees the statue, she feels something, so she comes in front of Luo Qianfan and she says, young master, be careful. Something's not right with this stone statue. And we see that the statue's eyes look exactly like a human's, and because of its eyes many people start getting hypnotized. But then Ying uses her technique. Seeing a boy notices Ying and he points his finger towards Ying and says, what are you trying to do? But then Ying attacks the statue, and because of her attack one eye of the statue gets destroyed. And all the people who were carrying the statue start running away, and seeing this the boy gets very angry and he says, how dare you destroy the immortal master's statue? But then statue also gets angry and he starts using his evil power, and starts hypnotizing everyone and taking their energy. And we see that some kind of mark starts appearing on their foreheads, but their power suddenly increases and they happily say, "Is this what cultivating immortality feels like? Wonderful, absolutely wonderful." And then Luo Qianfan's pendant starts glowing and a barrier is formed in front of him. And we see that they are surrounded by many people. And Ning says to Luo Qianfan, "Young master, it's the bridal curse. The statue is casting the curse on everyone." And Luo Qianfan says, "No wonder they're all acting possessed." But then Murthy says, "Hee, you can't escape." And we see that these people also get a mark on their foreheads, because of which Ning says to Luo Qianfan, "Not good, young master." And Luo Qianfan says, "I felt it too, but it doesn't seem to be much of a change." Then we see the system, which is getting a lot of warning notifications, seeing which the system gets very angry and says, "Who's the bastard trying to steal my host?" And the statue is trying to maintain its power, and seeing this the boy says, "How dare you destroy the Immortal Master's statue? You people, the Immortal Master is kind and grants us techniques, yet you're ungrateful and even dare to destroy his statue. Offer them as a sacrifice to the Immortal Master." And then a big man comes and asks them to move aside, and he says, "I'll use you to test my newly acquired power." But then Ing attacks that big man and throws him away, and seeing this they get shocked, and Ing thinks, "The bridal curse has taken effect. My power is being drained by that demonic cultivator." And a man says, "She actually dares to fight back. Let's attack together and finish them off. The Immortal Master is watching us." But Ing beats that man too and throws the milk on him. Similarly, Ing keeps moving forward by attacking many people, and she is thinking, with that demonic cultivator's cultivation level, he shouldn't be able to cast such a large-scale bridal curse. Isn't he afraid his physical foundation will collapse? And Murthy is getting very angry and he starts staring at these people. And Luo Qianfan also starts looking at Murthy and his mark starts shining, meanwhile, inside Luo Qianfan's body. And the system is getting very angry, and it is using its authority, and it is saying, "Stop underestimating me. Task come." And the system using its authority starts increasing Luo Qianfan's power, and the system says, "The host's energy was taken without resistance, receiving double compensation." But Luo Qianfan gets angry and says, "Don't use my body as your battleground." But the system wipes the sweat from her forehead and says, "No. 7 levels of martial energy. Don't underestimate a poor system." And we see Ing, who is still fighting with those people. But these people are very much in number. But still Ing is trying to attack them using her power. But then her mark starts shining even more and her power is now slowly decreasing, and seeing this they say, "She's done for, now's our chance, everyone attack together." And Ing thinks, "Damn, my energy-wise been drained so quickly." And then the little girl comes in front of Ing and she says, "Stop. You've all been deceived by the Immortal Master's lies." And the boy says, "This girl seems to be with them, they all want to disrupt the Immortal Master's teachings." And on hearing the boy's words, the little girl starts looking here and there. She gets a little scared and she looks at her father and says, "Father, why are you willing to be immortal bait? Why aren't you willing to doubt the Immortal Master's words?" And Luo Qianfan puts his hand on the little girl's shoulder and says to her, "Because they all understand what you're saying." And the little girl says, "Then why do they?" Then Luo Qianfan says, "Because they dare not refuse, because they fear that if they refuse, and others might accept, how can they be sure their decision was the right one? Falling behind is the most ferocious glutton in the world. Once you've seen it, you must constantly fill its appetite, even if the cost is everything you have." And listening to Luo Qianfan's words, the little girl gets surprised and she says, "Is there really no way out?" And Luo Qianfan smilingly says, "Of course there is." And the little girl asks, "What is it?" Then Luo Qianfan says, "Nothing else, just giving up and slacking off." But the little girl does not understand Luo Qianfan's words, and the system turns its face away. And the little girl asks Luo Qianfan, "Give up? Young master, is it really that simple?" And Luo Qianfan says, "Girl, giving up is not as easy as it sounds. For many people, it's an obsession they can't let go of their entire lives." And on hearing Luo Qianfan's words, a man gets very angry and says, "What do you know? You dressed in fine clothes, with cultivators as your bodyguards, living a grand life. How could you understand the suffering of those of us who can't even step into the world of immortality? For the sake of becoming an immortal, I spent all my wealth, lost my family, all just to join a sect, and guess what those people at the sect said to me?" Then the man remembers what an immortal master told him: "Your talent is poor, you can't cultivate immortality. Leave, don't waste your efforts." Poor talent. And on hearing all this he gets very angry and says, "Ha! A lifetime of effort dismissed with just 2 words by a mere child. Do you know how I felt? The frustration I felt nearly suffocated me." And after listening to all the words of that man, Luo Qianfan says to him, "Well, congratulations." And after listening to Luo Qianfan's words, that man gets surprised, and then Luo Qianfan says to him, "You wanted so badly to cultivate immortality, and now you've finally experienced what I feels like. Shouldn't this be the happiest moment of your life? That's why I'm congratulating you." That man gets more angry after listening to Luo Qianfan's words and shouts, "Not enough. I'm not happy enough. I need to become stronger. I need to go back to that sect that cast me away and make them regret it. I'll find the wife and children who abandoned me, show them I've ascended to immortality. I still want, and the girl's father is a little surprised to hear that man's words. And Luo Qianfan says after hearing that man, "See? Like I said, you're a glutton." Then that man moves forward to attack Luo Qianfan, and seeing this he gets scared for Luo Qianfan, but then the girl's father hits that man and pushes him away. And the girl becomes very happy to see her father helping her, and the girl's father says, "This cultivation stuff is really something. With this strength, I could probably kill a mountain bear with just 1 hit." The young master's words aren't pleasant, all that talk about gluttony, greed and such, but it suddenly woke me up. You know, I don't want that much, really. All I want is for you, Qinghe, to live a good life. I just want to have the ability to protect you forever. Screw this cultivation stuff, I don't care about it anymore. And we see that the little girl's father starts losing energy, and his body starts drying up, and Luo Qianfan gets very shocked to see this. Then the other man starts laughing after seeing this, and he says, "Ha ha ha, the immortal master has punished you." But when that man looks ahead, he gets very shocked because the idol is now absorbing the energy of many people. And we see that Ing comes back to Luo Qianfan, and she is a little injured, and the idol starts taking energy from her body, and to stop this thing, Ing sits down and starts doing cultivation. And seeing all this, the system says to Luo Qianfan, "Careful, you seem to have caught this fellow's attention." And Luo Qianfan starts staring at the system. Then the system says to Luo Qianfan, "Why are you looking at me like that? Did I make a mistake helping you restore your energy?" Then all these people start saying something: pure energy, extraordinary spiritual essence, endlessly flowing, and we see the little girl, and the energy starts going out of her body too. And this man laughingly says, "Who would have thought heaven would favor me so much, letting me encounter such great immortal cultivation material as you today?" And Luo Qianfan, seeing this situation, is saying, "Exploitation, oppression, and mental control, you really are completely poisonous in every way." And Madame Courtesan is also hypnotized now, and she laughingly says, "He, with such a rich immortal fate, if you can handle it, why not hand it over to me?" And the little girl says to Luo Qianfan, "Let me boil your bones, flesh, and blood into a powerful elixir." But Luo Qianfan is smiling, and he says, "Seeing how passionate you are, I almost feel bad interrupting you. What exactly made you think you've got me all figured out?" Then in the sky we see a ship, and this ship is Luo Qianfan's. And Luo Qianfan gets happy, and he says, "You talk too much, it's getting annoying, so why don't you voluntarily break this bridal curse, and let me smash this damned statue? What do you think?" Now as soon as the boy sees the ship he gets surprised, and he says, A celestial ship? Don't tell me you plan to use a celestial ship to break through this city's barrier?" The Immortal Alliance Pact. But Luo Qianfan orders Su Gao to fire, hearing which the boy gets very surprised, and we see the ship fires, which directly breaks the formation, and Su Gao tells Luo Qianfan, "Young master, the city barrier has been broken. What's the next move?" And Luo Qianfan says, good old Su, next. And another dangerous attack is about to happen on the statue from the ship, and a dangerous attack is about to hit the statue, but a barrier is formed in front of the statue. And seeing this, Luo Qianfan is a little surprised, and the little boy says, as expected of my chosen celestial destiny, I underestimated your courage. You actually dared to violate the Immortal Alliance Pact and activate a celestial ship within the city. Then that boy comes out of hypnotism and he is surprised to see his surroundings. He does not understand where he is now. And these three are also shocked because now they are out of mind control, and Madame Courtesan is also out of mind control. And the system says to Luo Qianfan, why did he suddenly release control? Did he give up? And Luo Qianfan says, no, he's trying to put me in a difficult situation. And when the system hears about the difficult situation, it gets shocked. And we look at the statue and they say, the statue, look at the statue. How could the Immortal Master's statue have cracks? Damn it, what's going on? And then they look at the ship and say, look. What is that? Such a huge ship. Did the celestial ship damage the statue? Stop that celestial ship, now. And the system tells Luo Qianfan, this is troublesome. With how fanatical these believers are, if you want the celestial ship to attack again, you'll have to kill these believers. And Luo Qianfan says, looks like he's giving me a trolley problem. And the system says, kill these fanatical believers to break the bridal curse, or spare these believers and let this evil cultivator go, host. What will you choose? But Luo Qianfan becomes silent, and he starts thinking something, but he is not able to understand anything, and the system is getting very happy seeing Luo Qianfan's face, and she thinks, finally, he's in a situation where he can't rely on family status. Only by tasting powerlessness can one be motivated to improve. And Luo Qianfan says, I choose. And the system is getting very happy, and it is thinking, perhaps, through this difficult choice, I can guide his mindset to change. And Luo Qianfan says to the system, I choose slacking off. And the system says to Luo Qianfan, host, I understand this is a difficult choice, but this… Slacking off? How? How can you slack off in this situation? And Luo Qianfan says, simple. Since the choice is tough, I just won't make one. Let them choose themselves, survive, or follow their faith to death. And Luo Qianfan orders Su Gao, keep firing. And on hearing this the crowd says, it's you. You're controlling that ship to destroy the statue. And the boy says, you audacious scoundrel. How dare you defile a sacred statue? Aren't you afraid of divine retribution? If you want to destroy the statue, you'll have to go through our bodies. And Luo Qianfan says, fine, I respect your choice. And dangerous fire from the ship starts going towards the statue, and this time the barrier breaks, due to which the boy gets killed, and on seeing this the crowd gets very shocked, and they say, dead. He really died. The Immortal Master didn't say people would die. And this madman says, how? How could? How dare you? How dare you actually do this? The Immortal Master will punish you. And Luo Qianfan says, still counting on your Immortal Master? Your Immortal Master won't do anything for you. Either move aside, or stay. You choose. Sing Su, continue. Then now the crowd is very scared, and they say in fear, I just remembered something at home. I'll go on ahead, wait for me. I have things to do at home too. I need to go. I actually don't really need to become an immortal. But then some people come in front of Su Gao and they say, by the Immortal Alliance Pact, I order you to withdraw from the no-fly zone at once and submit to our jurisdiction. And after listening to them, Su Gao tells Luo Qianfan, young master, that the righteous cultivators have arrived. Do you want to continue? And the madman becomes very happy after hearing this, and he says, finally, someone's here to stop him. That kid's finally going to get punished by the righteous cultivators. But Luo Qianfan says, I don't care if they're righteous cultivators. Even if the Heavenly King himself shows up, I'm still going to destroy this eyesore statue. And we see that a very dangerous attack takes place on the statue, and the statue breaks into pieces. Then Luo Qianfan remembers about the past when he was fishing with fourth uncle. Then Luo Qianfan asked the fourth uncle, Immortal Alliance Pact? What is that? Then fourth uncle tells, the power of the cultivator's magical treasures is too great. Every time they fight, it always causes significant damage to the surrounding environment. So, a long time ago, a group of cultivators signed the Immortal Alliance Pact with various parties, setting some rules to protect the mortal world. After the Immortal Alliance Pact was signed, that group of cultivators voluntarily became the Righteous Cultivators, meaning to upload a covenant. And Luo Qianfan says, I see, it sounds like a good thing. And the fourth uncle says yes, so at that time, various forces didn't mind providing them with some resources. After all, except for those demonic cultivators, no one wants the world to be in chaos. At that time, many people joined the Righteous Cultivators either out of interest or agreement. For a while, under the governance of these Righteous Cultivators, the world indeed became much clearer, and the cultivators no longer acted recklessly. And Luo Qianfan says it sounds like there's a twist in the story here? And the fourth uncle says, a twist? Not really. It's just that over time, under the temptation of the bait, some fish couldn't resist biting the nook. At present, the crowd is very scared and they are saying, what should we do, what should we do? And Su Gao tells Luo Qianfan, young master, the Righteous Cultivators are heading your way. And Luo Qianfan says, same, very good at grasping the key points. And then those people come in front of Luo Qianfan and one of them says, you impudent brat. Not only did you violate the Immortal Alliance Pact by flying the immortal boat in the city, but you also interrupted Taoist brother Xianghua's sacred ceremony. Today, I will represent the Righteous Cultivators to punish the wicked and eliminate evil. And Luo Qianfan says, punish the wicked and eliminate evil? Haha, interesting. And the little girl says, no. The young master is not a bad person, that deceitful immortal master is the real villain. But that man gets angry and says, fooling the people, he deserves to die too. And he is about to attack, but the man behind him tries to stop him, but he has already attacked, and that is why the other man attacks to stop his attack. And we see that the little girl is very scared, but Luo Qianfan catches her, and then the system comes out and uses its power and creates a barrier to save Luo Qianfan, due to which the attack of that man is not able to hit Luo Qianfan. And seeing this, the man gets surprised, and at the same time the man in black dress gets a little happy, and the system also gets happy, and she says happily, I finally have a use, ha ha. And we see Luo Qianfan, who had taken out a token to stop the attack of those people, but he says, forget it, let her be happy, seems to be under a lot of pressure, and is about to go crazy. And Luo Qianfan asks the little girl if she is okay? So the little girl says, yes, I am fine. And the other man says to the man in white dress, there are still mortals here, how can you kill them? And the man in white says, mind your own business. And Luo Qianfan says, Righteous Cultivators? Is this how you uphold the world? And the man in white says, how we Righteous Cultivators act is not for you to judge. And Luo Qianfan says, did you know about the demons preaching and sacrificing the people in Liaoguang's city? And the man in white says, so what if we knew? And Luo Qianfan says, you knew he was harming people, and you did nothing? And the man in white says, the Immortal Alliance Pact does not prohibit Xianghua from preaching to the masses. Besides, it's a mutual agreement, no one forced these mortals to believe, why should we interfere? And Luo Qianfan says, organizing such a large-scale event is not something that demons could do alone, so, you Righteous Cultivators had a hand in it too? And the man in white laughs and says, so what? Let me tell you, Taoist brother Xianghua is registered with us Righteous Cultivators, preaching accord to the rules. Are you planning to kill me too? And Luo Qianfan says, blasting you with one shot wouldn't be enough to vent my anger. And the man in white cloth says, haha, the rules of the Righteous Cultivators are to unite against external threats. If you dare to kill me today, no matter what your background is, be prepared to face the entire Righteous Cultivators. How about it? Can you bear this cost? And Luo Qianfan says, it's tiring to talk with my head up, Su Gao. Make him come down. And then Su Gao comes behind him, but the man in white clothes notices Su Gao, but now it is too late, and Su Gao attacks him, but he controls himself. And we see that Su Gao comes behind Luo Qianfan, and the man in white clothes is getting very angry, and then the system says to Luo Qianfan, you triggered a choice mission. You are caught in a dilemma. Will you choose to bow to the corrupt and harmful righteous cultivators, or choose to be a coward, tuck your tail between your legs, and apologize? And Luo Qianfan says to the system, you're not hiding your selfishness at all now. And the system says, stop dawdling, make a choice quickly. Luo Qianfan then takes out a pendant he was wearing around his neck and says, sigh. I don't know why I'm always being forced to make choices today. Don't you know I hate making choices the most? Well then, leave everything to fate? Heads you live, tails you die. And the man in white clothes says, are you joking with me? And Luo Qianfan throws the pendant towards that man. And on the other side we are inside the cave. We see the old man coming out of the spider web, and his power has now reduced a lot, and he is very angry, and he is saying, unwilling. Clearly, I swore long ago to be cautious. It's just a statue of Xianghua. If it's destroyed, we'll just build another one. The heavens grant me fortune, letting me encounter such a delicacy, comparable to a gourmet meal. If I can eat him, it's better than devouring thousands of inferior delicacies. So hungry. This rotten mortal body truly has many restrictions, so hungry I don't have the strength to cast spells. Then the old man looks at his hand and cuts it and starts spitting out his own blood. He starts drinking his own blood, and after drinking his own blood he says, finally have some strength. When was the last time I ate? Too long, I can't remember. I'm finished with the appetizer. It's time for the main course. Although this will lose 3 to 4/10 of the nutrients, but so be it. After tasting that flavor, it feels like bugs crawling. I can't resist. I really can't resist. On the other hand, we see that someone has thrust a sword into the chest of the man in white clothes, and seeing this the man in white clothes gets very shocked, and so do the system and Luo Qianfan. And we see that behind him his own companion kills him. He is killed and his other companion gets very scared after seeing this thing, but before he can escape from there, his own companion kills him. And after killing both of them, the man in black clothes says to Luo Qianfan, young Master Luo, it's better not to dirty your hands. Others can't kill righteous cultivators, but if righteous cultivators kill each other, there's no need to worry about revenge from the righteous cultivators. And Luo Qianfan says, congratulations, you've completed the loop. But do you know me? So the man in black clothes says, I don't know you, but I was fortunate to have seen the immortal Luo mansions. Thoughts to the ends of the earth. Boat, given that, your identity is not hard to guess. And his Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised on hearing this, but he laughs and says, I see. Well, do you mind explaining to me at what point the plot is now? Then the man in black clothes bends in front of Luo Qianfan and says to him, young Master Luo, please forgive my presumptuousness. But I killed them because they deserve to die. Then Su Gao teases Ing and says to her, Lord Ing, are you alright? It's rare to see you fail. Then Luo Qianfan says to the man in black, tell me, why do they deserve death? And the man in black says, half a year ago, during an investigation, I unexpectedly discovered this vile practitioner of incense rituals performing inhumane acts. At the same time, I discovered that there seemed to be shadows of the Righteous Path sect in it, so I immediately chose to report the case directly. But after a long time, I did not receive any response from above, and then this man came to me, attempting to persuade me. According to the rules within the Righteous Path sect, he had no right to read the investigation dossier I reported directly. But not only did he know, the higher-ups also chose to remain silent about it. And Luo Qianfan says, it seems not just tolerance, but someone tacitly approved of this sorcerer's actions. And the man in black says, yes, you and I think so, so I accepted his recruitment. I knew that with my strength alone, I couldn't break through this situation, so I chose to temporarily endure. During these days, I personally witnessed the people being treated like pigs by this sorcerer. And the Righteous Path, which should have been protecting the people, became the butterpaper wrapping around rotten meat, aiding and abetting the wicked, actively covering up the stench. And Luo Qianfan says, so why do you have the courage to kill today? And the man in black says, because of you, young Master Luo. Please forgive me. I couldn't investigate this case on my own, so I involve you, relying on your background to cause a commotion, to draw the attention of the Righteous Path sect's higher-ups. And Nenning was about to say something to Luo Qianfan, but Luo Qianfan calmed her down and said to her, "You wanted to borrow a knife to kill? Then why did you ultimately do it yourself?" And the man in black clothes says, "This is an internal matter of the Righteous Path sect. How could I let you, young Master Luo, dirty your hands?" And Luo Qianfan says, "Within the Righteous Path sect, what is the punishment for killing a colleague?" And the man in black clothes says, "Death without doubt." And Luo Qianfan says, "No regrets?" And the man says, "Regretted before killing, nervous during the kill, but felt relieved the moment it was over, so no regrets." And Luo Qianfan says, "Sigh, you know I hate trouble." And the man in black says, "Rest assured, these 2 Righteous Path sect members died by my hand. There will be no further entanglement with you or the eternal Luo family. Today, you merely stumble upon a case of the Righteous Path's dereliction of duty, felt dissatisfaction. You don't need to worry about anything that happens next. As for the sorcerer who narrowly escaped, don't worry about it, young Master Luo." And we see that the mark on Luo Qianfan's forehead starts glowing again, and the man in black gets a little surprised seeing this, and the system he is getting angry. And then evil Laura starts coming out from Luo Qianfan's scar, and Luo Qianfan says, "Can't even think about it without it happening." And the man in black clothes says, "It's the sorcerer forcefully activating the wedding curse from a distance. This act greatly damages his lifespan. Is he crazy?" And Luo Qianfan tells the system, "I also want to know, why did he suddenly target me?" Then the man in black clothes starts using his power, and he says, "Xiao Yaoyan. Don't worry, young Master Luo, I can deduce the sorcerer's current location through the wedding curse. I'll go and kill him now to eliminate future troubles for you." But Luo Qianfan stops the man in black and says, "No need for such trouble. Lao Su, gather the men." On the other side we see the old man who is increasing his power again, and he is saying, "Yes, exactly, like that, good quality. Donglien is more abundant than when I came back. Picking a boy in the mortal realm for the trial is enough. It's like eating some." And the old man reminisces about his past and he says, "Immortality? That day, the longing for immortality inexplicably appeared in my mind. This thought was like a seed, sprouting in the whole character, blooming, but where is the fruit? Why can't it bear fruit? Human life is finite, the Tao fruit is hard to obtain. I am unwilling." Then that old man was leaving his mother, and his mother was saying to him, "Child, I beg you. Don't pursue immortality, don't cultivate any more." So that man says to his mother, "Mother, now even you don't understand me? You are ignorant, I don't blame you. This is because you haven't experienced the joy of cultivation." And the man takes out a pill and says to his mother, "Let me help you cultivate." And that man had killed his mother and absorbed her power, and he says, "If the cultivation isn't enough, then cultivate desperately. If there are bodily restrictions, then discard this mortal shell, as long as I can become immortal." Then the old man starts looking at a book, 5 Profound Incense Spectrums. And the old man again starts cultivating and power starts coming inside him, and he feels very good by feeling this power, and he says, "This is the heavens. Tribulation is coming. My guess was correct. Such a delicacy indeed can help me become immortal." On the other side we see Luo Qianfan who is looking at something and he is saying, "Looking at you, it seems you gained a lot." And the old man laughs and says, "The natural spatial formation of the 4 Seasons Strange Forest is indeed a masterpiece. I studied it for several days, and could only replicate about 2 to 3 parts of its essence." And Luo Qianfan says, "Is it enough?" And the old man says, "Time is a bit tight. Originally, I planned to use Qing Head as the formation lead, lock onto that sorcerer and let the divine guards capture him to lift the curse for Qing He. But now we have to set up the formation suddenly. Sending the A-guard might not be possible, but sending some items over is still doable." Then Luo Qianfan starts seeing something coming out of him, and he says, "That will be enough. Since he says I am his chance for immortality, I must give this old friend a heavenly tribulation show." Then the old man starts using his power, and we see that many talismans start coming out of the box which are playing here and there, and electricity is coming out from the talismans, and seeing these things Luo Qianfan also gets ready to activate the formation, and he says, "Is this the formation extracted from the special rules of the 4 Seasons Strange Forest?" And the old man says, "Yes, young master, it is." However, it's still in its infancy. There are still a few joints that need to be polished. Young master, you can cast it now! And Luo Qianfan activates the formation, and we see that now thundering is happening in the sky, and the old man sees this thing and he starts looking towards the sky and he says, The tribulation cloud hasn't formed yet. Why did the heavenly tribulation come already? Haha, is it that even the heavenly tribulation is eager to prove my path? Good. Then let this heavenly tribulation prove my Dao. And then thunder falls on the old man, and feeling this thunder the old man thinks, the power of this heavenly tribulation, why does it feel? And the power of thunder is very dangerous, due to which the old man disappears, and with this he dies. Then we see Luo Qianfan and he says, what a pity, can't watch it live, don't know if he will thank this old friend for brushing off the tribulation. And the man in black says, just now. The treasure you threw out, there seems to be a trace of the true immortal's aura? And Luo Qianfan says, because it was made using the true immortal's tribulation. And the man in black says, using the true immortal's tribulation, to make a ball? And then we see that the evil power starts going away from the girl's head, and at the same time many people start getting cured, but they don't remember anything that happened to them? And Ing says to Luo Qianfan, the bridal curse is lifted, the power given by the demon path has become a rootless duckweed, starting to dissipate. And Luo Qianfan says even the most splendid wedding dress can't be worn for a lifetime. Ing, how is your body? So Ing says, don't worry, young master, just a bit of vitality depletion. The young master destroyed that statue in time, so my foundation is not damaged. And then the system says to Luo Qianfan, the best part is yet to come. Congratulations to the host for completing an over-level kill. You have achieved a hidden task. To me, the realm is just words. You will receive the killer's relics. This time you completed the task on your own initiative. And then Luo Qianfan sees a lot of words written on them. Luo Qianfan gets very shocked seeing them. The system is saying to Luo Qianfan, did you really think all that vitality was for that guy to suck away? His cultivation got stained with my vitality. When he dies, the refined vitality scattered back to heaven and earth can be mobilized by me. This immortal resentment left on the vitality, savor it well. But then the system looks at Luo Qianfan and is surprised because nothing has happened to Luo Qianfan and he is calm, and the system says, why? Are you so calm? But Luo Qianfan does not give any answer to the system. And then Ing asks Luo Qianfan, young master, are you alright? So Luo Qianfan says, nothing, just a bit of tickling. And Ing says, young master, are you feeling unwell? Let me take you back to rest. But Luo Qianfan refuses, and the system thinks, how is it possible? This is the resentment left behind by a high-level cultivator's death. How can someone who has just condensed their spirit in the mortal realm be unaffected? And the man in black clothes comes in front of Luo Qianfan and is about to say something to Luo Qianfan, but Luo Qianfan tells him, as I said before, I prefer to avoid trouble. And the man in black clothes thinks, as expected, it still doesn't work. Indeed, the immortal Luo family, as the young master of a family bearing the name, Immortal, how could you possibly? And Luo Qianfan says, so, since you want to borrow a knife, make a big splash with it. And the man in black says, what do you mean? And Luo Qianfan says, didn't I just say, I'm the kind of person who hates trouble? And the man in black says, I thought you meant you wanted to refuse. And Luo Qianfan says, then the man in black says, refuse? Oh, you misunderstood. The professional team I hired advised me that, to avoid trouble, the best solution is to nip the bud, but if it's really hard to resolve, don't hesitate, escalate the situation and stake everything on it. Luckily, my family is strong. Isn't this a bit provocative? Then the man in black clothes says, on behalf of those without a choice, the bait, thank you for your family background. And Luo Qianfan says, you're welcome. For the detailed steps, consult with my strategist. And Luo Qianfan says to Ing, let's go back. Oh, I almost forgot. I believe, in such a diverse world, there shouldn't be only one solution. Immortal cultivation is not the only path, it should just be one of the options. I'm tired, I'll leave first. But then the little girl picks up Luo Qianfan's token and says to him, young master, I picked up your token. So Luo Qianfan tells the little girl that now this token is yours. And hearing this, the little girl gets a little surprised and she starts looking at the token and she says, "Huh? Strange, didn't the young master just use this to guess heads or tails? Both sides are the same." And the man in black clothes thinks, so life and death are in his hands. And Ing brings Luo Qianfan to the ship, but looking at Luo Qianfan it seems that he is very tired and he slowly starts fainting, and there is a system in front of him and Luo Qianfan is speaking to the system. "You, what did you do to me?" After some time we see all three of them getting very worried for Luo Qianfan, especially Ing, and Su Gao says to Ing, "Steward Ing, since you already discovered the anomaly with the statue, why didn't you break through immediately?" And Ing says that it was my negligence. And the old man says, "Enough. This isn't one person's responsibility, it's because we have been too indulgent." Then a lady comes out of Luo Qianfan's room and seeing her, Su Gao asks her physician, "How is the young master?" So the lady says the young master's condition is somewhat strange right now. And after listening to the lady, all the three people are very shocked and they are not able to understand anything. Then the lady says, "But you can rest assured for now, the young master's body is fine, not only fine, the young master's state is very good, so good that it's frightening." Then we see Luo Qianfan, who is lying very comfortably. After some time he wakes up and says, "What do you want to say?" Then the system says, "You really didn't feel anything?" And Luo Qianfan says, "A bit." Then the system says, "And then?" And Luo Qianfan says, "That's it." And after listening to all these things of Luo Qianfan, the system starts getting angry and she says, "How can you not feel anything? Such heavy resentment, enough to change a person's temperament drastically." And Luo Qianfan asks the system, "So that's yours intention? Using the resentment you've collected to make me change as you wish?" So the system says, "Don't make it sound like I'm harming you. What I helped you collect was the cultivation power dispersed to the heavens and earth by that demon. It just carries some of his obsession to become immortal. It will mostly just affect you a little." And Luo Qianfan says, "Interestingly, you collected that demon's power?" So the system says, "Collected, not plundered. Simply put, when that demon absorbed the vital energy I gave you, I was also polluting him at the same time, so when he died, the unknown cultivation power could flow into you under my control." And Luo Qianfan says, "So your previous extreme reaction, like having your tail stepped on, was just acting? The purpose was to transfer vital energy to me? Nice acting." And the system laughs and says, "He, it's all thanks to you, host, for strengthening your constitution earlier, otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible to bear so much cultivation power at once." Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised and he says, "Cultivation power? What's the difference from the vital energy you gave me?" So the system tells, "There's a big difference. In the spirit condensation realm, you can only borrow the power of the vital energy, but after advancing to the meditation realm, you have the ability to refine it. That's the true beginning of the path of cultivation." And Luo Qianfan says, "So, am I right that the vital energy we absorb in the convergent stage is borrowed from the heavens and earth, and when we start refining it in the meditation realm, it becomes our own cultivation power?" And the system says, "Well, actually refining vital energy also involves the breakthrough during the spiritual passage realm later, but yes, roughly." And Luo Qianfan says, "I haven't broken through because of it, so it's like I was just taking the bus before, but now I've chosen the car rental service. And oh, strictly speaking, I've stolen a car, whoa. Fast and furious." And the system tells Luo Qianfan, "No, why don't you seem angry?" So Luo Qianfan says, "Why do you seem to exceed me to make them angry?" And the system says, "Shouldn't you be feeling angry, powerless, empty, sad, and cold because I deceived you, and then hysterically unable to refuse the power I gave you?" So Luo Qianfan says, "Did you misunderstand me? I didn't want to improve my cultivation before because I didn't want to get involved in the matters of the Ancient Immortal Academy. But now that I can't avoid it, why should I refuse your help to improve my cultivation? And besides..." And the system is listening to Luo Qianfan carefully, and Luo Qianfan further says, "When the immortal bow blasted that statue just now, I felt quite relieved. If I could have hit it myself, I'd probably would have felt even better, and after listening to Luo Qianfan's words the system becomes happy and she says, "My host, you finally understand." Next day we see that the system is very sad and she is talking to Luo Qianfan. "Host, what are you doing? What about the rise? The effort? The cultivation?" Then Luo Qianfan says, "Don't worry, I've already set up a special cultivation team to help me make a cultivation plan." And then in comes to Luo Qianfan and she has something in her hand and she says to Luo Qianfan, "Young master, this is the preliminary cultivation plan for the convergence stage formulated by the advisory group." And Luo Qianfan says, "Oh. Very efficient. By the way, that Wei Daoed. Darn, I forgot to ask his name. How are the aftermath matters over there?" And Ning says, "Those commoners are important witnesses. Wei Maishio will be responsible for their subsequent resettlement. After that, we will denounce Wei Daoxiu in the name of the Shi family, and hold Wei Daoxiu accountable for the Liuguang city incident." And then Ning bends down in front of Luo Qianfan and says to him, "Young master, I have let you down." And Luo Qianfan says, "What is this? Didn't blame you." So Ning gets angry at herself and she says, "No. I understand, it's because of my incompetence that you decided to cultivate. Obviously, you hate cultivating so much, it's all my fault." And the system also feels bad for Ning and she says, "Little sister, what are you doing? I just convinced him with great effort, and now you're ruining it." And Ning is saying, "It's my fault, I should have detected the anomaly with the statue earlier, and then immediately risked my life to take you out of the city." And Luo Qianfan places his hand on Ying's shoulder and tells her, "You know I hate the trouble most, and revenge is the most boring and troublesome thing in my opinion, so you can't die, otherwise, I would be so annoyed seeking revenge for you." And Ying says, "Young master, aren't we currently on the way to seek revenge?" And Luo Qianfan says, "Right? If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have forgotten." On the other side we see Madame Courtesan and suddenly someone comes behind her and says to her, "Were you hesitant?" And Madame Courtesan says, "I'm worried that he might suspect me, just trying to be cautious." And suddenly Madame Courtesan starts feeling a lot of pain, and she starts screaming, and that man is using his power, and he is saying to Madame Courtesan, "Know your place." And Madame Courtesan says, "Yes. I was wrong. And that man says that Wastrel has many spies around him. Only you have the chance to act. Find an opportunity to add this medicine to his food in batches. And Madame Courtesan says, "I haven't completely gained his trust yet." And that man says, "There's no time for your hesitation. What do you think that after getting into that Wastrel's bed, you can escape from my grasp?" And Madame Courtesan says, "I wouldn't dare. I'll do as you say." And Madame Courtesan is very disappointed, and her eyes are wet, and she is thinking, "Yes, I never had the right to hesitate." Next day, we see the system and she is disappointed, and she says, "My understanding of the principle was wrong." And Luo Qianfan is training with Su Gao, and Su Gao blocks Luo Qianfan's punch. And the system is watching all these things. And then Luo Qianfan uses the talisman, and there is a big explosion. Then Luo Qianfan steps back, and Su Gao comes out of the smoke, and he says, "As expected of the young master, the timing of your moves and your grasp of the situation are impeccable." And Luo Qianfan says that praise is a bit stiff. The bread is a bit hard. And Su Gao says, "Yes, young master, I will improve next time." And the old man says the young master has made progress again. The momentum of this talisman is unparalleled in the world. Few can achieve this in the same realm. And Luo Qianfan says, "Well, it's also a bit of a trick." And Su Gao is noting down some things, and he thinks, starting from reality, and then elevating it. Such a smooth flattery technique, and Luo Qianfan thinks, using the cultivation power from the system to drive the talisman increases its power 3 to 4 times compared to using one's own energy, allowing me to skip the boring refining stage and directly gain combat power. Then Luo Qianfan says the momentum of this fireball talisman is okay, but its power is still weak, and it's hard to control the range. And the old man says, "I'll have the talisman department changed to a different spell engraving later." And the system says, "My host? He just isn't interested in cultivation, so he slacks off. He just isn't interested in cultivation, so he slacks off. Then Luo Qianfan starts going inside and he is humming, and at the same time he says, "Oh no, almost had to work overtime. Today's training ends here. Let's relax, friends." And the system says, "Hey, we've only trained for 7 or 8 rounds." After some time, Luo Qianfan is resting and reading a book. And the system says to Luo Qianfan, "Host, you are in a competitive flow, crossing a single log bridge with thousands of troops. You can't slack off just because of a little progress. Do you know, while you are enjoying comfort, others are burying their heads in hard training. Don't you feel any urgency?" And Luo Qianfan says, "Speaking of which, I've always been curious. What kind of mindset do those who wish to spend their entire lives in seclusion have?" And the system says, "Do you even need to ask? To hear the Tao in the morning, one can die in the evening." And Luo Qianfan says, "Okay, impressive, but I don't get it." And just then Madame Courtesan comes to meet Luo Qianfan. And she calls Luo Qianfan by his name, and Luo Qianfan asks Madame Courtesan to come inside. And Madame Courtesan comes inside and she says, "Young Master Luo, I made you a drink." And the system says, "Oh, it's the little courtesan with the pouty lips. Your ambush this time doesn't seem to be working." And Luo Qianfan says, "What's the rush?" And the system says, "You're probably hoping to delay it as long as possible, so you can have more time to fool around outside." Then Madame Courtesan goes close to Luo Qianfan, and Luo Qianfan says to her, "Why did you suddenly think of making me a drink?" So Madame Courtesan says, "Previously in Liuguang City, I was hit by a demon's spell, thanks to your protection." And Luo Qianfan laughingly says, "You're being too formal, you're my person, of course I'll protect you." And Madame Courtesan says, "I haven't seen you for several days, I kind of missed you." And Luo Qianfan and the system are surprised to hear Madame Courtesan's words, and Madame Courtesan says, "This is a drink I made with Lingxiang, are you? Please try it?" And Luo Qianfan says, "You put in a lot of effort, just leave it there, I'll have it later." And Madame Courtesan thinks, as expected. And she says, "Okay. Young Master Luo is really hard to figure out." And Luo Qianfan says, "How so?" So Madame Courtesan says, "Although since you brought me on this immortal boat, you've been acting like a lecher, but deep down, you've always been very distant from me." And Luo Qianfan says, "Hee, my lady, you don't intend to have a pure love with a playboy like me, do you?" And Madame Courtesan says, "You, young master, don't seem like such a heartless person." And Luo Qianfan says, "Oh, so sure?" And Madame Courtesan says, "Hesitate to confront a righteous cultivator for a little girl. How could you be heartless to those around you, wouldn't you?" And Luo Qianfan says, "For Qinghe? You misunderstood, I just." But Madame Courtesan says, "Young master, I know the style of your pendant. The patterns on both sides are the same. When that righteous cultivator attacked the little girl, you didn't plan to give him a choice, did you? Young master, your acting is unconvincing." Then we see bad guy, and he notices something, and he thinks, the art formation succeeded. It's not enough, the stealth of the swift wind compensates for its individual weakness, we need to do it a few more times, let more rational winds complete the interaction, only then enslave the old thousand sails. A few days later, Luo Qianfan is enjoying his life, and Madame Courtesan is feeding him with her hands, and she says, "Young master, open your mouth." "Young master, what is this book about?" So Luo Qianfan tells a light novel, and bad guy is secretly watching them both, and he thinks, another parasitic success, Gao Mei has been sticking close to him, doing well. Now the number is enough for me to enslave his soul. It's a good day to take action. At night, there is a formation around the ship. Then we see Madame Courtesan, she is resting. And then Luo Qianfan comes to meet her, and he says, "Some say a hibiscus face, a willow waist, nothing compares to such allure. But I say, the charm of your fair neck blushing pink is the most enchanting." And Madame Courtesan says, "Young master, don't tease me." And then Madame Courtesan gets surprised seeing something. And we see that bad guy has come there, and bad guy says, "Sorry, young Master Luo, for disturbing your elegance." And Luo Qianfan says, "What are you doing here? How did the guards let you in?" And bad guy says, "Isn't it? Young master, you called me. He, Li Mei, you're so useful, I'm almost reluctant to let you go, but alas, you only have 3 chances to attach your soul in your lifetime. After this, you're useless. Then Luo Qianfan says, I understand why she said I don't look like a scumbag. It turns out she's facing a textbook every day. And bad guy says, young Master Luo is calmer than I expected, but even if you're holding on, it won't change the situation. Soul parasite sees. But nothing happens to Luo Qianfan, and he sits comfortably on the bed, and he says, yes, everything ends. And then a talisman formation is formed around bad guy. And we see that Su Gao and the old man have come here. And bad guy understands that it was a trap. And the old man makes bad guy disappear using the formation. And the old man says, young master, the person has been sent over. And Luo Qianfan says, good, let's go too. Then Luo Qianfan looks at Madame Courtesan, and he says to her, although this wasn't in our agreement, do you want to personally send off your master? And Madame Courtesan says, someone once said, leave no room for maneuver. And Luo Qianfan says, I thought you made this soup for me. And Madame Courtesan says, this soup contains soul parasites. Soul parasites are weak. An ordinary child can easily crush them with a little force. But when a considerable number of soul parasites gather, they are natural materials for soul path spells. Many soul path talismans are engraved with the powder of crushed soul parasites. My master wants to use the subtle and hard-to-detect nature of soul parasites, to send them into your body for parasitism, to perform soul enslavement on you. And Luo Qianfan says, so what are you doing now? Betrayal? And Madame Courtesan says, because I know that even if I complete this task, the master will never let me go. Our kind has 3 opportunities to possess a body in a lifetime, which you cultivators call soul possession, but for us, it's like 3 births. Once we choose a body for the last time, if we leave it, we will no longer have the power to possess another body. I know him. He would rather extract me from this body and turn me into his spell material than grant me freedom. Captured, trained, and made to carry out tasks under his command, I've had enough of all this. And Luo Qianfan says it seems there are quite a few internal conflicts in this place. So, what's your plan? And Madame Courtesan says, before gathering enough parasitic soul parasites to cast the spell, he can only sense whether the soul parasites are parasitic. Now, by letting the soul parasites parasitize my body, he will mistakenly believe that you, young master, have been infected. When the time is right, he will come to you to cast the spell himself. And Luo Qianfan says, so what is your demand? So Madame Courtesan says, I only ask that you make him dissolve the master-servant contract. And Luo Qianfan says, aren't you afraid that when he finds out you betrayed him, he'll be furious and take you away? Given your contract, it shouldn't be difficult for him to kill you, right? And Madame Courtesan says, freedom or death. Then we see bad guy, and bad guy thinks, could this seal be a forbidden formation? And then Luo Qianfan comes there, and he says, familiar? This formation is based on the one you used when you tried to assassinate me, and it's been enhanced, so don't waste your energy. And bad guy says, it seems I've fallen into your trap. And Luo Qianfan says, we all know the unnecessary words, so let's not say them. Now it's time for practical combat. And Luo Qianfan tells the elder, remove the seal first. And the elder does the same and removes the seal. And Man in Black is watching this. Then he says, are you really going to duel me one-on-one? So Luo Qianfan goes ahead and says yes. And Man in Black further says, a mere spirit condensation realm, what makes you think you can? And then Ran notices something and his realm starts shrinking very fast. And the Man in Black gets shocked knowing this. Then the elder tells Luo Qianfan, young master, his realm has been lowered to the same as yours. And Luo Qianfan says, since you fell into my hands, you have no way out. But if you can defeat me in a one-on-one duel at the same realm, I can spare your life. Oh, right, the premise is that you have to break the master-servant contract with her. And Man in Black says, I hope you keep your word. Then the chain breaks from Madame Courtesan's body. And Madame Courtesan is surprised to notice this, but she thinks, it's undone. The shackles that have bound me for so many years, they were so easy. And she becomes happy and says to Luo Qianfan, thank you, young Master Luo, for saving me. Luo Qianfan turns back and smiles and says, "You won this bet yourself." Then he says to the man in black, "You are quite decisive." Man in black activates his power to attack Luo Qianfan and he says, "Even if you suppress my cultivation, I will prove to you the difference in understanding of techniques between a high-level cultivator and a transcendence cultivator." Shadow hands come from below to above around Luo Qianfan to catch him. But then Luo Qianfan uses Wind Talisman and destroys the shadow hands easily. But then Man in Black comes behind him to attack him, and he attacks Luo Qianfan on his forehead, but then he feels something that his attack does not hit Luo Qianfan because he was just his shadow. Then Luo Qianfan comes behind him and sensing this Man in Black tries to use the escape technique. And he again attacks Luo Qianfan, but Luo Qianfan dodges his attack and kicks him. And the elder says to Luo Qianfan, "Young master, his temporary burst speed exceeded your current round level. I have made timely adjustments. You can continue with your practical lesson." Man in Black says to Luo Qianfan in an angry voice, "Brat, this is what you call a one-on-one duel." But Luo Qianfan does not pay attention to what Man in Black is saying. He looks at the talisman and says, "This talisman is too slow, it needs improvement." Then he says to Man in Black, "You, a quasi-emperor, are dueling with me, a newbie who just started cultivating. Of course, I'm going to use a scale, otherwise wouldn't I be an idiot? Stop complaining, I'll count that last round as your win, okay?" Man in Black gets angry, but he can't do anything now. Then night turns into morning. And we see the condition of Man in Black who has been beaten up very badly. And Luo Qianfan gets happy and he says, "What an exhilarating duel. It's a pity that we haven't determined a victor yet. How about we take a break and fight again later?" And Man in Black says, "A radical question, do I have a choice?" Luo Qianfan says no. And Ning says to Luo Qianfan, "Young master, breakfast has been prepared." Luo Qianfan says, "No rush, I'm covered in sweat, I'll take a bath." But then Luo Qianfan feels something. And he finds himself in a different space and he says, "Is this the system space? Hey! I just spent all night dueling someone, I need to rest. What are you up to now?" But Luo Qianfan does not get any response, there is silence all around. Then we see outside the space, where Ying and Su Gao both are surprised that why is Luo Qianfan silent? And why is he not saying anything? But then System, she also comes into Luo Qianfan's space and she is surprised. And she does not understand what kind of place this is. And she says, "This is introspection." Luo Qianfan is surprised to hear System's words and he asks what is introspection. So System starts explaining and she says, "Don't tell me you thought I went through all this trouble to get you the residual power of a high-ranking cultivator just so you could play with talismans? In introspection you see your true form. Introspection is a profound state that 90% of cultivators can only hope to encounter." Luo Qianfan says, "What are the benefits of introspection?" The System says, "If cultivation is a journey, the first two realms, the foundation establishment and spirit condensation realms are the preparations before departure, and before a cultivator sees the world and all beings, the last thing to do is to see themselves. This is also why after spirit condensation comes contemplation. And whether or not one can complete introspection during contemplation determines the upper limit of your future cultivation path. Only by truly understanding yourself can you avoid getting lost on the long road ahead." But Luo Qianfan does not understand anything, and the System thinks, forgot that he doesn't like theory lessons. Then Luo Qianfan says, "But what does that have to do with the power you plundered?" The System says, "It's not plundering, it's collecting. Essentially, a power imbued with the resentment of a high-ranking cultivator. Every time you use it, it's a clash and argument between you and that resentment. Under the stimulation of this power, it helps you to open up introspection. After all, you know, clashes and drunken brawls are the fastest ways to understand a person's true nature." Luo Qianfan says, "So, this is an introspection state? I've entered a state of introspection so quickly by arguing? It seems my trash talk ability is quite strong. Since I have to face myself, then where is myself now?" Then Su Gao says, "Young master is truly a prodigy, to actually be able to enter a state of introspection." Legend has it that entering introspection will trap one in a maze of confusion, and if one is not careful, one can be lost. For decades, none of us have any experience with introspection, so we can only hope that young master won't be trapped inside. And then the elder comes and he says, I've already set up the clear heart, guard stillness, and bright spirit formations around us. Su Gao says, thank you for your hard work, Elder Pa. Elder says, it's what I should do. Ing says, Elder Pa, you are knowledgeable and experienced. Do you have any understanding of the maze of confusion during introspection? The elder says, I don't know much about it either. I only know that it seems to specifically target a cultivator's minds. Cultivators without strong willpower are easily trapped within, unable to escape. Ing says, young master, could be considered to have strong willpower? But Luo Qianfan's attention is on the food, and seeing this all three are surprised. And the system thinks, the introspection came too suddenly. I did not expect him to enter introspection so quickly. Oh no. I can't intervene at all now. Did I mess up? It's good enough if this lazy host doesn't slack off. The words strong willpower have absolutely nothing to do with him. And Luo Qianfan says, hello? Is anyone there? Is this white fog never going to end? My true body. Where is my true body? And Luo Qianfan starts running towards the mad people, and seeing this the system thinks, oh no. He is too obsessed with finding himself, and he is already starting to get lost. How could he get lost so quickly? Is he not resisting at all? Then Luo Qianfan takes a deep breath. And seeing this the system gets a little confused, but Luo Qianfan says, sigh, forget it. If I can't find it, I won't look for it anymore. System thinks, just like the last time he encountered the obsession with becoming an immortal, he looks completely unaffected. Could it be? Luo Qianfan lies down there and says, why don't I take a nap first? I don't know if this state of introspection is by the hour or by the day. System is nervous and thinks, because his heart is so set on slacking off, he's not affected by other distracting thoughts. Luo Qianfan's attention goes towards System, and he notices that System is a bit disturbed. But he smiles and says, so that's how it was, huh? No wonder I couldn't find you. So you've been chasing me non-stop too. Long time no see. Society slave. I see. I'm starting to understand. No wonder you keep saying introspection is profound. If searching for contemplation is like looking in a mirror, then introspection is character face customization. It really is true that cultivation is outside, and your true body is given by yourself. The system thinks, he finally understands the meaning of introspection. This true body, completely rebuilt by itself, will become a beacon on host's future cultivation path, breaking through the confusion and pointing directly to the great Tao. Host, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and start. Luo Qianfan says, someone who once spent 3 hours customizing a character's face before playing a game, a severe case of indecisiveness. 1 day later. Man in Black is imprisoned inside the ship. And then Luo Qianfan comes after opening the door, and he says, today's practical lesson is about to begin. I had a small breakthrough yesterday, so you can put in more effort today. Man in Black says, don't bother with useless talk. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Luo Qianfan says, I was too caught up in yesterday's fight to realize. What are you, a tentacle monster? Man in Black and Luo Qianfan's fight starts again, and they both attack each other. Man in Black again uses a shadow hand, but Luo Qianfan uses a talisman to avoid the shadow hand and comes down. He uses the talisman to attack Man in Black and destroys Man in Black's shadow hand. But when a formation gets activated above him, Luo Qianfan gets surprised. And the elder says to him, breaking arms to form a formation, how ruthless. Young master, be careful. Su Gao says, how can he dodge this? Elder Pa, pull the young master out. Then the elder notices something, and breaking the ground, Man in Black comes behind him to attack him. And he says, as long as I kill you first? But then to save the elder, Su Gao and Ing attack Man in Black and throw him away. And Luo Qianfan says, hey, why are you attacking the audience? You're my sparring partner. Man in Black says, brat. If I could unlock my power seal. But the man in black sees that there is a tornado in front of him, and he is surprised to see it. And Luo Qianfan creates the tornado using the talisman, and man in black says, wasting precious talismans like spilling beads. Luo Qianfan says, there's no point in continuing to practice with you injured like this, today we'll. Man in black says, talking about cultivation all the time, yet relying on borrowed power to put on a show here. Without your family background, without this shell, what are you? And then very large tentacles start coming out of man in black's body. And seeing this, all three are surprised. And Luo Qianfan also gets scared. And then the system comes behind him and Luo Qianfan says, oh my god, where's my teleportation talisman? The system says, forget the talismans. Don't you have legs? And then Luo Qianfan is attacked by tentacles. Seeing this, Su Gao gets very angry, and he moves forward to attack the big octopus and he says, you dare hurt my master? You're courting death. And the elder tries to stop Su Gao, but Su Gao does not listen, and he attacks. And the elder uses his power to create a barrier in front of the octopus, due to which Su Gao's attack does not hit the octopus, because of which Su Gao asks the elder, Elder Pa, why are you stopping me? So he sees that a barrier is formed around Luo Qianfan, and Luo Qianfan says, if he didn't stop you, I'd be the unlucky one. Su Gao is surprised to see Luo Qianfan safe and sound, but he is also happy. And then all the tentacles of the octopus are tied with chains. And the elder says, it's just a high-ranking cultivator using sycophant. And his cultivation was suppressed by me. With all the talismans and protective magic tools on the young master, it would be strange if something happened. Su Gao says, I'm sorry, young master. I thought you were crushed to death. So I just. Luo Qianfan says, just don't say anything. Elder Pa, what's the deal with this giant octopus? The elder says, it's nothing much. Some cultivators went on crooked path, resulting in sycophants, and they were experienced backlash. Then Luo Qianfan is a little surprised to hear what the elder says. And the elder's attention goes to Su Gao and Ing, who are fighting. And the elder says to Su Gao, Divine Guard Su, call out the fallen crowd leader. Su Gao says, fallen body, brutal death, counter enemies, guard the Dao, immortal, fallen crowd leader sword. The elder says, when cultivators in the world break through and ascend, they will choose an object and nourish it with their own spiritual power. Day after day, year after year, the object will gradually grow under the influence of the master's spiritual power, and become more and more spiritual. Divine Guard Su's fallen crowd leader is the exclusive magical weapon he cultivated. Luo Qianfan says, exclusive magical weapon? Does that mean only old Su can use it? Elder says, yes, because it is cultivated by Divine Guard Su with his own spiritual power. So even if it falls into the hands of others, it's just an ordinary sword. Similarly, Butler Ying's flower fate spear is the same. Young master, it's about time for you to choose an exclusive magical weapon to cultivate. Luo Qianfan says, an exclusive magical weapon? It seems that I can't ask someone to cultivate it for me. It seems like it will take a lot of effort. Elder says, young master, you don't have to worry. While there are no rules for choosing a magical weapon and it's entirely up to the cultivator's own preferences and habits, the items themselves can be valuable or worthless. Luo Qianfan says, in other words, if the item chosen as a magical weapon is already very powerful. Elder says, ha ha ha, you're right, young master. Like Divine Guard Su and Butler Ying's magical weapons, they were already divine weapons when they got them. After cultivation, they became even more powerful, and the difficulty of nutrition was greatly reduced. There are also many cultivators who hold the idea of better to have none than a bad one. Luo Qianfan says, in that case, I'll also better to have none than a bad one, and slowly find a powerful artifact to cultivate. Then Luo Qianfan's attention goes towards the octopus and he asks, wait a minute, Elder Pa, why did we get off topic? Weren't we talking about the giant octopus? So the elder says, ha ha ha. That's exactly what I was going to say. This is the second use of a magical weapon. To help the owner break through and ascend. When a cultivator breaks through, they need to consume a lot of mental, physical, and spiritual power, and this magical weapon stores a large amount of the owner's spiritual power. When the owner's spiritual power is exhausted, they can draw on the spiritual power in the magical weapon to replenish themselves. And some cultivators take advantage of this. Luo Qianfan says, could it be? Is this giant octopus that pimps magical weapon? The elder says, that's right. And Luo Qianfan says, in addition to heavenly treasures, there are also many spiritual beasts that possess abundant spiritual power. By using some forbidden techniques to seal these spiritual beasts within their bodies, they can borrow the power of the spiritual beasts and make rapid progress in their cultivation. No wonder that guy's cultivation level is so high. But after all, it's a crooked path with great risks. If the host's own power cannot suppress the spiritual beast, they will be backlashed by the spiritual beast within their body. The subject becomes the master, the subordinate rebels against the superior. This is sycophant. Luo Qianfan thinks, humph, and you dare to accuse me of using borrowed power. Aren't you doing the same thing? Then we see the system which is carefully observing Luo Qianfan's shadow and she thinks, this host. I really don't understand what he's thinking. After some time, Luo Qianfan is in his room. And Madame Courtesan comes to him and says, young master, you're looking for me? And Luo Qianfan says, yes, you've regained your freedom now. What are your plans for the future? Madame Courtesan says, freedom? Young master, you're joking. Didn't you buy my freedom? My current master is young master. Luo Qianfan says, to be honest, I only came to investigate the mastermind behind the attack on me and my father. Madame Courtesan says, young master. Those people treated me like a slave. In their eyes, I was nothing more than a tool to be used and discarded. Thanks to young master, my shackles are now gone, and I have nothing to do with them anymore. I will never forget young master's kindness for giving me a new life. Please rest assured, Luo Qianfan says, you misunderstood, I wasn't suspecting you. And then Luo Qianfan's fourth uncle comes and looking at Luo Qianfan and Madame Courtesan he says, something happened. Luo Qianfan says, fourth uncle? What's wrong? What happened? Uncle says, are you busy? It's about your mother. Luo Qianfan gets nervous and says, mother. What happened to her? So uncle says, she said she wanted to see you one last time before death. And told you to hurry back. Luo Qianfan says, what happened? Did that group of people come back again? Where's father? Uncle says, the details. You'll know when you get back. Luo Qianfan says, I'll have them turn the ship around and head back to the manor. Uncle says, no need. It's urgent. Use this 1,000 miles teleportation map to teleport back directly. Luo Qianfan says, what about Elder Pa and the others? Uncle says, they've already gone back. Don't worry, I'll take over the investigation of the attackers. I'll write back to you if there's any progress. And Luo Qianfan starts to leave using the teleportation map and he says, then I'll trouble you. Then uncle says to Madame Courtesan, You are from the Siren Spectre clan? Sorry, but you'll have to stay with me for a while. Then the scene shifts to Luo Manor. And Luo Qianfan comes out of the teleportation map. And as he looks ahead, there is someone in front of him who is his mother. And Luo Qianfan is surprised to see his mother safe and sound. And she says to Luo Qianfan, watch your words, we have distinguished guests present today. And Luo Qianfan is surprised. And then someone says to him, the famous son of the immortal Luo monarchy in Luo. You are my future husband? Legend has it that 1,000 years ago, an evil dragon descended upon the world, wreaking havoc on humanity, leaving a trail of destruction and suffering in its wake. In this time of crisis, a brave warrior stepped forward. The warrior and the evil dragon fought a great battle that shook the heavens and the earth. After 7 days and nights of fierce fighting, the warrior finally vanquished the evil dragon. The surviving people crowned the warrior as their emperor, and thus the Skyward Dynasty was founded. And this imposing young woman before me is a descendant of that very warrior, the Empress of the Skyward Dynasty. Sylvia Lin asks, are you Luo Qianfan? To this Luo Qianfan replies, no, You've mistaken me for someone else. I'm just a lost traveler. On hearing Luo Qianfan's answer, his mother hits him hard and says, You wanna die, brat? Mind the situation and stop fooling around. Then she says to Sylvia Lin, I've spoiled him too much. Sylvia Lin says, Oh, young Master Luo is too kind. There's no need for such a grand gesture. Where's the head of the Luo family? Luo Qianfan's mother says, My husband went to investigate the strange occurrences at Nialing first. Don't worry about him. Just let him kneel. He likes kneeling anyway. Sylvia Lin says to her soldiers, You are all dismissed. And she starts looking at Luo Qianfan. And Luo Qianfan thinks, Why is she looking at me so strangely? Then she says, What? Is the thought of marrying me so horrifying that you can't even admit who you are? Luo Qianfan says, Well, since you asked, I'll be frank. I'm a free spirit, and marriage will only slow down my speed of slacking off. On hearing Luo Qianfan's words, his mother gets angry at him and she uses her power and says, If you like being down to earth so much, then just stay down there. And Luo Qianfan says, Mother? I'm just joking with the sister Empress. Then Ying puts her hand on Luo Qianfan's shoulder. And Luo Qianfan asks her, Have they both gone? So in answer to this Ying says, Madam and the others are already far away. Luo Qianfan says, Ying, you've changed. You actually teamed up with my mom to trick me. After some time, Qian Luo's bedroom. System says to Luo Qianfan, Can you do that again? Mother, I'm just joking with the sister Empress. And the system starts laughing loudly at Luo Qianfan and she says, So, host, there are times when you're afraid of offending people too. Luo Qianfan says in an angry voice, Do you know how much that slap from my mom was worth? I almost got sent back through time. If I can't beat them, I'll just hide. Ying and Old Su have already bowed their heads to the evil forces, so this time I have to escape alone. And as soon as Luo Qianfan opens the window, his mother is in front of him and his mother says, What? Trying to run away again? Luo Qianfan gets scared. I just wanted to open the window for some fresh air. Mother, why are you here? And his mother says, I know exactly what you're thinking. What revenge journey? You just want to run far away and avoid getting married. Luo Qianfan says, You tricked me back here, saying something about seeing me one last time before death. And his mother says, The assassins were after you, and you went to them yourself. Of course I wanted to see you before your death. Luo Qianfan thinks, So, death was referring to me. And his mother recalls her husband saying, Small seclusion is happiness, big seclusion to break through. And she says, Your father is always in seclusion and can't be seen at all. And our only son only knows how to seek pleasure and make merry, never striving to improve. Can't any of you give me a break? Luo Qianfan says, Mothers have worked so hard, and those who are able should do more. His mother says, Cut the crap. Let me tell you, I'm very satisfied with this marriage. Your father finally did something sensible. I'll be keeping a close eye on you from now on. Don't even think about running away. After some time, Luo Qianfan is fishing and he is thinking, This is troublesome. I can't run away. My heart is tired. Am I really going to live a life of early marriage? But this Empress looks like she's all about her career. Being with her, I feel like my future will be restless. But on second thought, this Empress looks quite cute. She seems to be younger than me? Luo Qianfan is so engrossed in his thoughts that he does not even realize that a fish is caught in his hook. And then Sylvia Lin comes there and she says, There's a fish on the hook. Aren't you going to reel it in? Luo Qianfan is surprised to see Sylvia Lin and he says, Sister Empress? When did you get here? You didn't make any sound when walking. Sylvia Lin says, If you don't reel it in soon, the fish will get away. I'll help you. And Luo Qianfan's mother is watching all this from a distance, and the elder is also with her. And Luo Qianfan's mother says, Have you made all the arrangements? Ying says, Don't worry, madam. Everything is in place. Luo Qianfan's mother says, Then let's begin. And the elder uses his power and brings out a fish from the talisman which swallows the small fish stuck in the hook. Sylvia Lin realizes that a big fish is stuck in the hook and she tries to pull it out, but the fish is a little more powerful. and it starts pulling Sylvia Lin towards itself, and seeing this Luo Qianfan starts getting a little scared, and he catches Sylvia Lin and says, "Hold on tight to the fishing rod, or the fish will get away." But then a lot of soldiers come and catch Luo Qianfan, but Sylvia Lin tells them to stop. And when Su Gao sees this, he gets a little scared, but he says, "I was so busy instructing my own people that I forgot to stop the people on the other side." And Sylvia Lin asks the soldiers to let Luo Qianfan go. And seeing this, Luo Qianfan's mother says, "Finally, there's someone who knows how to read the room. The saving the damsel in distress show I prepared wasn't in vain." The elder says, "Young Master Luo, what are you spacing out for? Come fish with me." "Don't worry, madam. I've already withdrawn the spell." And then Sylvia Lin pulls the fish out. Luo Qianfan is surprised to see this. Sylvia Lin is happy to see such a big fish, and she says, "I was able to catch this fish thanks to your help. This trophy is for you. This is my first time fishing. This is so much fun." Luo Qianfan is looking at the big fish and he says, "When did our pond get this kind of fish? Did they introduce a new species?" His mother says, "Are these two really suited for marriage?" There is a festive atmosphere in the city at night. Luo Qianfan and Sylvia Lin both are roaming in the town. Then we see a female, and she has a talisman in her hand, and she says, "Attention! The two protagonists have arrived on stage." And another man also has a talisman who hears the female's voice. And he says to another man, "I'll leave it to you, Mr. Song." So the man says, "Don't worry, I've been writing plays for the Pear Garden for 10 years, and I'm best at creating love stories." And then Sylvia Lin's attention goes towards someone, and she stops. And seeing this, Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised and asks what is wrong. So she says that there is nothing like that. And then a monk comes in front of them and asks them to stop. Then another man says, "Here comes the first event," and the monk says to them, "Meeting his fate, would you like to draw a fortune?" Luo Qianfan says, "Have you had to resort to soliciting customers on the streets these days?" Monk says, "Benefactor, you're joking?" Luo Qianfan asks Sylvia Lin, "Want to draw one?" So Sylvia Lin says, "It doesn't hurt to draw one." And Sylvia Lin picks up a stick. And Monk looks at it, and he says, "The sun shines brightly, the rivers and seas are clear. Born in a prosperous age, with a good heart. Congratulations, benefactor, this is a lucky fortune. You have a destined love right in front of you. If you miss it, you will regret it." But Luo Qianfan does not pay much attention to Monk's words, and he starts leaving, but before leaving he says, "Your fortune-telling is quite strongly targeted." And as soon as Luo Qianfan goes ahead, he sees a boy and a girl. And this is the second event of that man. And Luo Qianfan is listening to their romantic talk, and then he feels something and he asks Sylvia Lin to stop and says to her, "Wait a minute. Let me watch a show." Then Luo Qianfan and Sylvia Lin are secretly listening to their conversation, and after listening to their conversation, both of them start leaving. Luo Qianfan says to Sylvia Lin, "I'm just an onlooker watching the show, but why do I feel like I'm the main character? I feel like everyone in the city is being strange today." Sylvia Lin says, "Have you noticed it too?" But Luo Qianfan doesn't understand anything and asks, "What do you mean?" So Sylvia Lin says, "Someone has been following us since a while ago. I'm not sure yet whether he's after you or me." Luo Qianfan says, "How do you know?" Sylvia Lin says, "I've cultivated a spiritual technique that is good at searching and tracking." After listening to Sylvia Lin, Luo Qianfan starts thinking about something. Then we see those two people, and one man says, "Look. The indirect approach worked, the male and female protagonists have started to get closer." The second man says, "As expected of Mr. Song," and we see Ying, and she says, "Hey, I feel that something's off." And somebody says to Ying through a talisman, "Stewarding, you worry too much. Or are you worried that I've perfectly completed Madam's instructions and stolen your show?" So Ying says, "You're overthinking." Song says, "Next, it's time for the climax to heat up the relationship between the male and female protagonists. Have everyone get ready." Luo Qianfan says to the system, "Have you noticed anything?" The system says, "Hey. I'm the system. Not your detector. Show me some respect." Sylvia Lin says to Luo Qianfan, "There was recently an assassination attempt on me, and I suspect there are still remnants in the city who want to attack me." Luo Qianfan says, are your men nearby? Sylvia Lin says no. And she reveals what Luo Qianfan's mother said? Don't bring so many people when you go out to play, it's a mood killer. Come on, listen to your aunt, leave them all here. Luo Qianfan says, then this is a bit troublesome. And we see this man using a talisman and says, everyone get ready, flower petal team, remember to throw the petals high, fireworks team, remember to set off all the fireworks at once. So in response his friends say that everything is ready. And they suddenly come in front of Luo Qianfan and Sylvia Lin, seeing whom Sylvia Lin becomes alert. But they throw flowers on both of them. But Sylvia Lin misunderstands something and she attacks, due to which the petals of the flowers burn. And seeing this, both of them get scared. Then a man sets fire on the firecrackers and firecrackers start bursting in the sky everywhere. Then Sylvia Lin says, who are you? Identify yourself. And both of them get very confused. And Luo Qianfan, seeing both of them, comes to know something, but before that Sylvia Lin says, be careful, the petals might be the medium for their magic. It's a niche technique, but it can't fool me. This area is probably full of their people. Sylvia Lin holds Luo Qianfan's hand and starts taking him with her. And seeing this, both of them say, Mr. Song, this is completely different from what you said. Song says, this. I did not expect this either. Ying thinks, it's hard to say if feelings have developed, but there's definitely a heated atmosphere. On the other side, we see Luo Qianfan's father, and he is a little serious. And there is a strange creature in front of them, and it has a sword in its hand, and that creature attacks Luo Qianfan's father. But Luo Qianfan's father defeats it in a single attack and destroys it completely. But due to the attack, his hand also gets slightly injured. And then a soldier comes and he says, Master, our scouts report that the whole Burial Ridge forbidden area is currently enveloped in a bloody fog. Should we send someone in to investigate? Luo Qianfan's father says, no need. We should set up defenses around here in advance. With the blood mist swirling, Burial Ridge is about to open. Things are probably going to get pretty wild here soon. Everyone's getting anxious. The next day, Luo Manor. Luo Qianfan's mother is a little angry and she says, I asked you to find a way to make them fall for each other, and you staged a night raid? And Su Gao says, please calm down, madam. I didn't expect that person from the Divine Dynasty to react so strongly. It really was just scattering flower petals. Luo Qianfan's mother says, now it's great. Instead of deepening their romantic feelings, they've become comrades in arms. Ying says, Madam, perhaps this isn't a bad thing. Even though that opera star bombed this time, his approach is still worth learning from. Both the young master and Her Majesty are of noble birth. It's definitely tough to get them to develop feelings for each other the usual way. Luo Qianfan's mother says, your point is? Ying says, young master mentioned a phrase before called breaking the ice. I think, perhaps we can have an adventure that puts aside their worldly identities, to break the ice in their relationship. Luo Qianfan's mother says, an adventure that puts aside their worldly identities? It sounds reasonable, but where should they go on an adventure? Then we see Luo Qianfan, who is resting. But the system is getting angry, and Luo Qianfan says to him, why are you so tired? Don't push yourself too hard. Come on, take a break. The system says, enough. You are now in the contemplation realm. After seeing your true self, you need to quickly choose a core cultivation technique to refine your origin energy into true essence. True essence is the inherent power of a cultivator. Due to the differences in their true bodies, true essence will also vary. For example, if a cultivator is impetuous and fiery, the true essence condensed after seeing their true body will be aggressive like fire. And there are also demonic cultivators. Because they cultivate demonic techniques, the true essence they condense may be extremely devouring and destructive. Luo Qianfan says, I understand. So it's best to choose a cultivation technique that matches the true body, so that 1 + 1 is greater than 2, right? The system says, that's right. So host, hurry up and choose your core cultivation technique. So Luo Qianfan tells the system that it is okay. And the system thinks, why is he so easy to convince this time? Then she asks Luo Qianfan to get up, but Luo Qianfan does not pay attention to her. But just then Luo Qianfan's mother comes and sees her. Luo Qianfan stands up and asks her to sit, and he says, "Dear mother, why are you here? Please have a seat." His mother says, "Don't give me that. I'm here to ask you to do something." Luo Qianfan says, "If my mother wants me to do something, I will certainly not refuse." His mother says, "Could it be that if I ask you to marry the Empress immediately you'll also?" Luo Qianfan says, "A woman as wise, mighty, and valiant as my mother, how could she possibly force her child to marry?" So his mother says, "Who do you even take after? Let's get down to business." That girl from the Skyward Divine Dynasty came this time not only to discuss marriage, but also to go to the burial ridge. Even if you don't want to get married right away, you can't be rude, you'll be the one to escort her this time. I've thought it through too. After this, I won't force you to marry. Of course it's true. I'm your mother, how could I lie to you? And Luo Qianfan becomes happy after listening to his mother, and he says, "Okay, just watch. I'll guarantee the mission's completion."